Good morning, Ghana. Good morning, lovely listeners of GhanaTalks Radio. You are welcome to the GhanaTalks Breakfast Show right here on GhanaTalks Radio. It's a beautiful brand new day, and we are here to bring you the latest headlines making waves in the news, from politics to business, from sports to entertainment, and everything in between. We got you covered with the most relevant stories. As usual, remain your host, Esnal Fiagbedi. And joining me on today's headline review is Miss Debbie Adoso and Miss Regina Bless. Good morning, my able panelists.
Good morning.
How are we doing?
We are fine.
I'm great. I'm good.
To the birthday girl.
Hey, just
All right.
I'm
All right, let's close.
Red flag.
Once we are done.
Billboard.
Okay, so I must say that I'm pretty much excited this morning, simply because the e-levy has finally been abolished. So yesterday, President John Dramani Mahama signed the bill for the e-levy to be removed. How do you feel about that?
Very excited. And yesterday, well, I didn't try sending money to someone, but then I watched a show when the person tried sending money. Like, they want to find out if truly e-levy have been abolished, and goodness, it was cancelled. And we are happy. We are very happy, and I'm sure I'm not the only one happy. Ghanaians are happy, and I know Momo vendors are also happy. Yesterday, I saw an interview with is it the boss of MTN, and he was like, if e-levy is not cancelled, or if the go ahead is not given to him, he cannot take that tax from the Momo you send to people, or from the transaction you do. So I feel like the mobile money, the e-levy being abolished, we are happy. And one more thing, President Mahama has fulfilled his promise. He said it and he did it.
He said it and he did it. Miss Regina, birthday girl.
I am grateful. I am happy that finally the all these bills have been repealed. I am very, very grateful. And one thing I like to say is this is a president who do not renege on his words, who do not go back on his words. He makes sure that his words are fulfilled. If there's any other word aside that, I would use it. But this is a president who has the people's interest at heart. Finally, we would be financially independent. We will be financially is it revived with a resolve?
Well, I feel it's a bit of relief for all Ghanaians.
Exactly, because I learned 2 billion Ghana cedis will be going to the public. No longer, no e-levy, nothing. And it's not only exactly betting tax.
Our investors, finally the 10% betting tax levy has been taken off, and I guess that is a big relief for all of us as a country. Alright, so let's dive straight into our headlines for today. Local government minister wants chiefs empowered to tackle galamsey. The Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Ahmed Ibrahim, has expressed confidence in traditional authorities' ability to help combat illegal mining, commonly known as galamsey. Mr. Ibrahim highlighted the influential role of traditional leaders in their communities, emphasizing their crucial role in the fight against galamsey. He cited the Asante Hene Otumfo Osei Tutu's II's decisive action and holding his sub-chiefs accountable for their involvement in galamsey as proof of the power traditional leaders wield. However, the Bandam MP lamented that chiefs currently lack the power to take direct action against illegal miners operating in their jurisdiction. He noted that some illegal miners secure permits from government agencies, leaving chiefs powerless despite the destruction in their communities. Mr. Ibrahim called for an amendment to Section 63B of the Minerals and Mining Act to empower chiefs in the fight against illegal mining. So here are some key highlights of the story. Ahmed Ibrahim, Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, believes that chiefs can play a crucial role in fighting illegal mining, which is also known as galamsey. The Asante Hene has held sub-chiefs accountable for illegal mining, proving the potential influence of traditional leaders in stopping galamsey. Chiefs lack direct authority to stop illegal miners because permits are issued by government agencies, leaving them powerless. The minister suggests amending Section 63 of the Minerals and Mining Act to give chiefs more authority in tackling illegal mining. What do you make of the story? Do you think chiefs don't have the authority or the power to tackle illegal mining in the country? Ms. Vijayna.
Your question again.
Do you think that chiefs do not have the mandate or the authority to tackle illegal mining? Do they need to wait for the government to give them the go ahead? Don't you think they have the opportunity in their communities to help tackle illegal mining?
Okay, thank you very much. So the last time someone made an utterance that there's no way people in a community can engage in illegal mining if the go ahead was not given. We all know that Greater Accra region, Hanum, we don't normally hear of illegal mining. The illegal mining goes on in these rural areas, the villages and all that. And it brought in mind that truly these local chiefs, these local chiefs or the chiefs or any local authority, the religious bodies and all that, I feel that they are the ones who give the go ahead to these illegal miners. Because you are the chief in that region, you are the chief in that town. How would a commoner or how would someone come out from the country, come into your town and start mining? The go ahead is given from these chiefs, and these chiefs needs to be accountable for that. They can't wake up and say that these people should stop because they are taking money. Whatever proceeds they get from the illegal mining, they also have a share in it. They have a percentage, they have a commission in it. So they're waiting for the government to tell you, for the government to tell you that you need to help combat this illegal mining. It's a question mark for them. That was, I think late last year, we had a lot of issues going on between the Asante Hene and one media lady in regards to certain utterances she made. And to be honest, to be honest, what she said, there was nothing wrong with it. She said the honest truth. Because open you tifi na wonya there was a way akọ sa akola ya de wontu nefo if omoba no mu di nkola na atem enye panyin na want tete akola ni no ombedi watem. So maybe they will say chi kase bi wo hwa enye se wo ka kire ohene. But let's put either being political affiliated or whatever aside. A chief in a town is supposed to see to any activity, supposed to see to the day-to-day activities in that town. If something is not going on well, that is why you have elders. The elders report to you, the chief, and you make sure that you find a solution to that. So I don't see the need why the government needs to come to you, the chief, to tell you that help us in combating this illegal mining. And first of all, this even illegal mining, you people are the one benefiting, and you are also finding a disadvantage to that. Because but mostly, they drink straight from the water bodies. They drink straight from the water, but even if they go to farming, they drink straight from that water body. So if chemicals are being added to the water bodies are being destroyed. I don't believe that you, the chief, you wake up every morning and use what is it called? bottle water to bath, bottle water to cook, bottle water to... You don't do that. You also feed directly from that water body. So they should collaborate, come together, and make sure that this illegal mining is being combated. The government can do something about it, but the sole responsibility lies on the chief himself.
So it starts from the community before the government takes over. All right, Miss Debbie.
Okay, so chiefs play a crucial role in combating illegal mining. Who are landowners? When you talk of a landowner, when I get to a village right now, or when I get to my village, even though it's my village, that was where I was born, but I'm not the owner of the land. If in case I want to do something on that land, I have to seek the permit of my chief, which means that the chiefs owns the land, and automatically the chief is the head of that particular community. So you can't tell me that a chief cannot or do not have the sole power in combating illegal mining. The chief cannot arrest the illegal miners, but he can also combat illegal mining by not giving legal permit to those illegal miners. I cannot just stand up today, go to the Ashanti region, say Obuase, and then start mining. And you won't tell me that the illegal miners at Obuase has not consulted the chief of that community before they start to mine. They seek the permit from the chief, they talk to them, and sometimes they hand over something to them. Because last year, the demonstrations or the protests that some of these residents in those mining communities are saying is that most of their chiefs, it's like the residents are more even affected than the chiefs, because it feels as if the chiefs do not even care about the well-being of the residents in that community. And here lies the case: water serves as a whole lot. We drink water, it also serves as a source of food, because we fish from water bodies. That's where we get our fish, we get our crabs, we get all those food that are used in our daily lives. So you can't tell me that chiefs don't have the power to combat illegal mining. I cannot, as I said, I cannot go to your community and start mining without seeking your consent. So the chief and the government, has to work hand in hand to combat illegal mining. If, like the way we used to deploy was the military personnel and staff to go and fight and all those kind of things, first of all, you have to collaborate with the chiefs and make sure that this thing does not happen, because the government can try his best to send military, like what the previous government did, burn excavators, and what Mahama is also doing, bringing out initiative with what's the name of this thing they brought about to curb illegal mining. What we call the marine whatever.
The Blue Water Initiative.
The Blue Water Initiative. So you see, the chiefs can the government can come up with steps to combat illegal mining, but without consulting or having a collaboration with the chief, there is no way you can curb illegal mining, because they go to the chief, they know you are the owner of this land, and before I can access it, I have to give you money. And some of these chiefs are interested in the money they give them. They are interested. You see, the other day we were talking, and Omari was like, some of them is because of vehicle, because they'll give them vehicle and some token. They are only interested in the token and not the well-being of the people. Aside that, illegal money is causing a lot of harm to us. So these people should help us. They should help us, because it will be very sad if in the next 30 years we will be importing water. And you see, it was this same issue that affected Konfano Teaching Hospital, where there was no water. And it's
where they have to suspend surgical cases.
It's all channeled to this illegal mining.
So
we are saying illegal. It seems as if they don't really care. No one is, saying anything as if they care. When the time comes, we will all face it. But I'm praying maybe by that time I won't be here. So that I won't be here. But what we are saying is that the chiefs should help us. They should help us combat illegal mining.
The chiefs should help us combat illegal mining. This is what Debbie says. Moving on to our next headline. PBC workers demand urgent government intervention to revive struggling firm. Workers of the produce buying company are ramping up demands for government intervention as the once thriving cocoa buying firm struggles with inefficiencies and financial distress. They argue that PBC, a crucial player in Ghana's cocoa sector, deserves the same level of attention and support as Ghana Cocoa Board amid ongoing economic recovery efforts. At the core of their demands in the urgent appointment of a new CEO to lead the company out of crisis, led by the pressure group of PBC Limited, the aggrieved workers cite month of unpaid salaries as a major setback, threatening their livelihoods and the company's operations. The vice chairman of the PBC Workers Union, Seth Edusei, called on the government to take swift action to revive the struggling firm. Now, here are some key highlights of the story. The produce buying company, that is PBC, once a dominant cocoa buying firm, has suffered financial distress, reducing its market share from 30.88% in 2016 to just 8% in 2021. Workers cite months of unpaid salaries, creating hardship and disrupting operations. Now, workers demand the same level of attention as Cocoa Board, which still receive government backing despite its 32 billion debt stock. This is more or less like the government neglecting PBC, which was once the dominating cocoa producing company. What do you make of it? What do you think the government can do to revive or take PBC out of their crisis?
This is GhanaTalks Breakfast Show, your morning companion.
I mean, the only way to take them out of their crisis is to heed to their pleas. This is what they are saying, that they are not being paid right. They are not being paid. And we all know cocoa. When we talk about Ghana, I mean, cocoa is one of our produce that generates a lot of revenue to the country.
True.
Through cocoa, you and I have tasted a Milo. Through cocoa, we've had a lot of product. And cocoa, I mean, having the identity of Ghana. I know some African countries, I think some African countries also produce cocoa. But then Ghana on cocoa is selling out in our neighboring countries. And so people who engage into this cocoa farm, even including the farmers, cocoa farming, producing and stuff, so you have to pay them because these people are putting in their energy, they are putting in their effort to make sure that these cocoa beans is sold out, so that we can actually have more money or generate more revenue into the country. And at the end of the day, it's like you're working in vain and you're not being paid. It's very sad. It's very, very sad. So I feel like the government should heed to their plea and make sure that whatsoever that they are seeking the government to do it now and immediately. Because if these people should halt their work, or as is very common in Ghana, we are going on strike, then just imagine what will be happening to the cocoa sector. And then the cocoa, sector in this country, I'll start from the farmers to even those who buy and produce it. They go through a whole lot of stress. They cultivate this cocoa. If you go to villages where cocoa is very dominant and they farm more into this cocoa beans and stuffs, you will see how stressful it is. You go to harvest it, you have to come and take out the seed. You dry it and a whole lot.
And these workers haven't been paid for months, and it looks like they've been neglected and forgotten, and the government has shifted its attention to the cocoa board. But the PBC was actually once a dominating cocoa producing sector, but now due to the crisis,
you see, it is different if they are not doing their work, but this is a case where they are doing their, because our cocoa is selling out there. In other neighboring African countries, cocoa is selling out there. And when you taste the Milo, it's not nice.
Oh, it is.
When I buy Milo today, I finish it within a week. You see, so it's really helping us. But you can't tell us that these people are stressing themselves, to make sure that it stands. And then at the end of the day, you don't pay them. It's very sad. are you just working for free?
No.
You're working for the government because you also need to cater for your needs. And so, Mr. President, our government, we are pleading that something should be done. As you said, we are pushing our attention to the Cocoa Board, and the Cocoa Board, I mean, they are enjoying too much. Even scholarships that are meant for these farmers, some of them, you know, the Lulu ways, they are rather enjoying it more than the farmers. So since it is one of the sector that is generating more revenue for the country, I feel like the government should focus more on that sector, just as the way we focus on the BOG, like the Bank of Ghana, because it's also, I mean, let me say, should I say it's the holder of the country? So we should also focus on it. I mean, sectors that we believe generate more revenues for the country. We shouldn't even wait for, I mean, those workers to come out saying this and that, and the government is not doing this, you have to pay us. No, you should rather, I mean, do something to even motivate them to do more. So I feel the government should heed to their pleas, and now and immediately.
Miss Regina.
Okay, so it is essential that the government heeds to their plea, as my colleague said. So first of all, for a worker to be able to work well, they need to have a good environment,
a good working environment.
Exactly.
Right.
The environment needs to be favorable to them.
Yeah.
If the environment is not favorable to them, there's no way they'll put in their all to work.
Good.
So with they coming out to call out to the government, we know what the governments can do. They are doing some, and we have trust in them that they would actually see to it, because this government actually should I say, love the people, listens to the people, and make sure that the wish of the people are being done. They are not self-centered, they are not selfish. So as I said, we've seen it. They've done some, and we believe they will be able to do this also. So they should make sure that all the demands are being met. The workers' demands are being met. Because some people, how can you be working for months and you are not being paid? How do you feel?
Yeah.
Some of these people are renting, and in fact, renting comes with a whole lot of issues. They have kids, they have families they need to take care of, and also our own personal needs. Sikanumpo embayano asound. So please, there's no way we would be working without being paid. Sometimes working is not only about the passion. You need certain incentives to support you, to make you thrive harder and go harder. So we plead on the government. We are begging, we are calling out to them to see to it that the demands of these workers are being met.
But how do you work in a sector where there's no CEO?
Exactly. How
so are you going to work?
Seeing to the day-to-day activities
and
of
who
the
is
company?
supervising your work or even checking?
Wow.
They actually don't have a
Imagine
CEO.
Imagine there's no CEO here.
And they haven't been paid for months.
I think they not having someone in charge is also a contributing factor as to why they are not being paid, as to why there are certain loopholes in the company. Because I don't think if there's someone seeing to all these activities, he or she will make sure that things are putting in the right direction. So they need to also have a CEO,
They need to
a
have
manager,
a
a supervisor, whatsoever.
Yeah, someone
It's
who
very
can
necessary.
supervise them and can see to it that they are working well.
Exactly. Just imagine a firm without a boss. It's a firm which would eventually collapse.
In as much as you have the assurance or the trust that your workers are going to do a great job, but it's actually needed, or it's actually needful, or I think it's actually relevant, or I think it's wise enough for the leader to be there. Maybe they are not doing it the right way. How would they know this is what will suit the organization best?
Yeah. So they need to get a boss.
And right now that they have actually come out to put out this piece, you wait and see. Government is not going to do anything about it. They'll only tend to respond to them if they see them on the street with red and black.
Exactly.
It looks like the only language the government understands is demonstration
and violence.
Right now they've come out calmly to tell you their problem, and then So if we don't hear anything and then we see them on the street, people shouldn't be like, it's
I
because
have trust in my president. Thank you, ma.
All right, moving on. Suspend mining for 3 to 4 years to reclaim lands. Former Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the National Democratic Congress, Joseph Coker, has called for a complete ban on illegal mining, also known as galamsey, and the suspension of small-scale mining to facilitate land reclamation efforts across the country. Coker stressed the need for decisive action to protect Ghana's natural resources from further destruction. He also suggested that large-scale mining companies temporarily halt operation for at least 3 to 4 years to allow for land restoration. Do you think suspending or banning illegally indefinitely is going to help? Which of them is going to help us? The suspension or banning the activity at all?
Banning it for, say, maybe even for 3 to 4 years is less. Maybe 5, 6 or 10 years.
Forever.
And it's not like you suspending it. You see, was it under the previous government? I think illegal money was halted for some time.
Yeah.
But still, they find out that some people, some notorious illegal miners, were still mining on our river bodies and our forest reserves. So I feel like it's not about suspending it. It's about banning it and making sure that these illegal miners do not access these river bodies and our forest reserves again. And this can only happen if the people are arrested. If not only arresting the illegal miners, because the illegal miners is just like an employee being employed by an employer, someone be employed by another person. So it's like you're working for someone. So you are arresting the illegal miners, and the people who are solemnly behind this are in their office, chilling about, and you sit in your office and you tell us that you are working on illegal mining, you want to ban it. Illegal mining don't work like that, because we've seen instances where previous governments put in measures to stop illegal mining, banning of excavators, deploying military guards to guard the illegal mining sites. Still illegal mining continued. So I feel like suspending it wouldn't do much. We should ban it. We should ban it like 10 to 20 years, because this is a case where our forest reserves and water bodies are being completely destroyed. Our water, which used to be very nice, some of our water body serves as a tourist reserve. People come and they want to see like how beautiful it is, because I was told that over the sea you won't see trees. Like, not that they don't have trees, but it's not really common like Africa. When you come, even when you're traveling almost on the road, like every place you get, you will see trees standing, and it's so beautiful. One, it beautifies our environment, and it also attracts people from all walks of life to come and see. And as they come in to see all these things, it also generates revenues, right? So when you tell me that you are suspending illegal mining is just like you seeing the problem and then you're using a rag or a napkin to cover it, rather than finding a solution, a very solid solution to keep illegal mining. So we should ban it, and not just banning it. We should make sure that those behind this illegal mining, that even arm them. Can you just believe this? Someone who is mining illegally being armed, meaning the person is war prepared for anything at all.
Yeah.
He knows what he is doing. It's bad. Yesterday, I saw in the news where I think the pit where they mine illegally collapsed in one of the places in the Ashanti village, I guess. And I think 3 people were trapped in, and definitely they will die. So it still have its effects, but some of these illegal miners still want to do this, and I believe we should ask ourselves why. Is it because there are not a lot of jobs or works to employ these people. So as we are thinking of how to abort illegal mining, we should also be thinking of how to find these people or these illegal miners something to do. Because banning the illegal mining without getting them something to do will also trigger them to indulge in illegal mining them more. And some of them will tell, sometimes it's not as if there is no work. They'll tell you that for you mine a day, the money you get is more than when it comes to, do this businesses, small businesses to get money. So we should ban it, not suspend it. And we should also make sure that people behind it are arrested, not only the illegal miners. Arresting those who mine on the site and leaving those who are behind it wouldn't keep illegal mining. We arrest them, and then we make sure that they pinpoint people who employ them to do that. And they should also arrest chiefs. They should start arresting chiefs. They should start arresting chiefs too. Because these chiefs feels like a micro. This is my place. You cannot arrest me. And some of them, they feel like you cannot tell me what to do in my own community. Yes, it is your community. It is your land. You are not feeling the pain. But the citizens in that community, they are feeling it the more. Maybe you have the money. You can actually move out anytime you want. But these people, they are feeling it because it's affecting their health. So they should ban illegal mining and make sure that people who are behind it are arrested. Not only arrested, but are made to face the law.
Ms. Regina, do you think banning or suspending illegal mining is going to help us with Galamsey crisis? Which of them do you think is going to work better for us?
Okay, so I would go in for banning. Because as she said, during the past administration of ex-president Akufo-Addo, he made sure to suspend illegal mining, where some military personnel were deployed to mining sites. If you are being caught, you would be arrested. They take excavators, they burn them, but yet still we didn't see any improvement, we didn't see any result as to that. So I feel that they should rather go in for banning. And the banning, it shouldn't have a time frame.
It should be banned forever. No, but there are actually some companies who have been
small scale mining.
The small scale mining, but with the kind of galamsey they are doing, the illegal mining. Would you classify that as a small scale mining?
It is not a small scale mining.
Because this small scale, if it is indeed a small scale mine, then I believe it shouldn't be affecting the country.
It's not small scale. That is why it has the name illegal. These people, they don't even have enough knowledge on how to even mine.
How to even mine.
These small scale miners, I believe they are being educated. They know how to use the right amount of substance, chemicals, and all that. They know the right reserve to use. They know the right path to take. Okay. Yes, but these people, you can't.
They just jump at
wherever they see river passing. Then the chemicals, so it should be banned totally. Totally. But you suspending, and I feel that it's not only about you banning it, but you should put in strategic measures which needs to be adhered to. Strategic measures which would help ban this illegal mining. And these people, all they do is they are being arrested. At the end of the day, they'll be detained. I think yesterday 11 illegal miners were arrested. And I know very soon these people will come out to tell us they've been billed each on a huge sum of money. I feel that sometimes these people, they are being arrested just because of the money. Because when you want to be billed, you need to pay a huge sum of money. And because they know that the proceeds from mining is a lot. So it should be banned, not suspended. And before they ban it, they should put in strategic measures that would help ban it totally.
Well,
I want to add up something.
Okay.
As it stands now, we don't really see the difference between a small scale mining and illegal mining. Most of these small scale miners are even doing this illegal thing more because they have this coverage, like we are being licensed to mine, and so they can equally mine illegally. We should delve very deep and then see. We can even arrest these small scale miners involved in illegal mining, even more than those we claim to be involved in illegal mining. Because we have some of these politicians who also mine. It was alleged, some political names were mentioned, and it was alleged that these people even mine illegally. But it is believed that they have, license. Some of them do have license to mine, but they are mining illegally. So I feel like arresting, we should also make sure that this small scale mining, we should keep an eye on them. And trust me, we are going to arrest a lot of them because most of them are using this thing as a coverage, this thing of we are being licensed by the government and then they are mining illegally. So they also play a role. So if you are banning, we are not only banning the illegal miners, the small scale miners are also part.
So Galamsey is actually one of Ghana's biggest headache. It's more or less like a crisis, and then we are not going to stop talking about Galamsey. And I think it's high time the governments do everything in their power to make sure that this crisis is being curbed. Thank you so much for joining us on our news headline review for today. Up next, we have Debbie's Grill.
This is GhanaTalks Breakfast Show, your morning companion.
Good morning and welcome once again to Debbie's Grill, where we delve into matters that interest to the state. Looks like every corner I pass today, I hear resounding joy from citizens. Why? Because the controversial e-levy tax has totally been cancelled. Now, President John Dramani Mahama has officially signed bills to abolish several controversial taxes, including the electronic levy, which is the e-levy, betting tax, and emission tax. This move fulfills his campaign promise to provide economic relief to Ghanaians within his first 120 days in office. The abolished taxes had faced widespread criticism for their impact on disposable incomes and industry stakeholders. The e-levy, introduced in 2022, imposed the 1% charge on electronic transactions, sparking public resistance due to its perceived financial strain. The betting tax, which levied a 10% charge on gambling winnings, drew backlash from the gaming industry. So the controversial e-levy, emission tax, and the betting tax was successfully abolished by our president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. And this has bring a lot of smile, onto the faces of Ghanaians. And this is where I stand in. It's not only about abolishing the e-levy, but it also sends a signal to we the citizens that Mr. President promised to do something and he did it. And this is what we the citizens of this country want. It's not about you coming to ranting to us. Ranting and then saying that you are going to do this, you are going to do that, and then all of a sudden, you disappoint us. From the beginning, a lot of Ghanaians were like, oh, President Mahama cannot do anything. He can't abolish the e-levy. When he abolished the e-levy, where are we going to generate revenue from? But this e-levy introduced since 2022, and it's believed to generate 2 billion or so to the country. And this e-levy has been in existence for some time now. upon generating this amount of money, we the citizens still didn't see any improvement in our infrastructure. We saw no improvement in, construction of roads. We saw no improvement. But these were the same people who told us that this e-levy is going to generate more money and is going to be invested into, needed projects that is going to help the citizens of this country. But we saw nothing. Even upon citizens crying out and letting the previous government know that, see, this e-levy you are bringing on board is going to stress us, it's going to drain us financially, they never mind us. And then they went on to pump champagne, cut cake on top, just to mock the ordinary Ghanaians. And here comes the Messiah, President Mahama. He said, I will abolish the e-levy, I will abolish the emission tax, I will abolish the betting tax. And we thought he was joking. In fact, some of the citizens think it will never come to pass, because we've seen or we've experienced governments that comes into power, they promise us something and they don't do it. They promise us A and then they end up doing the other side. This shows that His Excellency the President is ready to do his work, and he has proven to us that he's not a president who just speaks and then that ends it. He's going to walk his talk, and he did it. And the betting tax, as I'm speaking right now, is cancelled, so you can go on with your transactions and then you won't be taxed. This is what we want: a listening president, a listening government. A president that will listen to the grievances of his people. A president that will do the will of his people and not his will, because we entrusted power into your hands. We voted for you, and then we expect that you do as we wish, not as you wish, and also command us to do things that do not align with maybe your thought to bring development into the country. So a president or a government who do not listen to his people, a government who will not do the will of his people, it means you are on your own. And so President Mahama doing this, trust me, yesterday I've spoken to some people, and I can see that there is this revival of trust again, because we've totally lost trust in all, our government, even this current government. We've totally lost. We have no trust in them, because we've seen things that are more than this, and then they come and they do nothing, absolutely nothing. And when you do this, if you're the kind of person that listens to your people, trust me, why are they not going to bring you into power the next time you will stand, or the next time the party is going to stand? But you see, as the e-levy has been abolished, a lot of people are also asking questions that which other way are we going to generate another revenue for the country, because this e-levy is supposed to be giving us 2 billion, including the emission tax and all the taxes we know about. And now that these levies have been scrapped, are they going to introduce another nuisance tax? What steps are they going to take to make sure that these taxes that have been scrapped, they are going to bring in new taxes? Are they going to bring in new taxes? These are a lot of questions that a friend of mine was asking me yesterday. And so to the government, yes, you've scrapped the e-levy, but we don't want a situation where they'll introduce another tax that will be more than the e-levy we've experienced. We know your government is doing well, and we know that you are striving to do your best as you can. And even though you are in power for not so long, your good deeds, as we say, will speak for you. But this is our question: are you going to introduce more taxes that will bring more burden or heavier burden on the ordinary Ghanaians more than the e-levy? So this is our plea to you. If the e-levy is scrapped, this nuisance taxes that we feel like wouldn't help the citizens, and you have heed to our plea by scrapping these levies, then this is a plea to you that even if you are going to bring in another taxes, or you are going to bring in measures to replace these taxes, it shouldn't be something that will let us think or have this kind of perception that you should have better leave the e-levy, because even if you have left the e-levy, it will be better. We don't want a situation like that. Yes, we applaud you for what you have done, but please make sure that you don't introduce other nuisance taxes. Thank you for making time with me on the Biz Girl.
Thank you so much, Miss Debbie. If you have taken the e-levy off, make sure you don't introduce other nuisance taxes. That was from Miss Debbie Adoso. Up next, we have Today in History with Miss Regina Bless.
Welcome to Today in History and Did You Know Live on GhanaTalks breakfast show, where we educate and entertain you also. So 1984, Today in History. 1 week after the death of Ahmed Sekoy, president of Guinea since its independence in 1958, Lassana Conte led a coup d'etat and took over the presidency. He remained president until his death on 22nd December 2008. 1944, the U.S. Supreme Court rules that black citizens are eligible to vote in all elections, including primaries. 1984, Coach John Thompson of Georgetown University becomes the first African-American coach to win an NCAA basketball tournament. On April 3rd, 2010, the African Renaissance Monument, a 160-foot bronze statue of a family, was unveiled in Dakar, Senegal, by then-President Wade, marking Senegal's 50th independence anniversary and symbolizing Africans' rebirth. In 1968, the South African government announced that the University of South Africa would no longer be affiliated with the 5 non-white South African university colleges, a move that solidified the segregation of higher education under apartheid. Moving to some Did You Know for today. Did you know that the human memories are highly fallible and it's possible to form false memories based on suggestion and imagination? Did you know that wild elephants only sleep 2 hours a night? This is so they can stay alert to danger. Elephants in zoos, on the other hand, sleep for a leisurely 4 hours a night. Did you know that China owns all the pandas in the world? China owns practically all the world's giant pandas, and they are leased to zoos in other countries, often for around $1 million a year, a practice known as panda diplomacy. So our last Did You Know for today. Did you know that a mobile phone can have 10 times more bacteria or germs on it than a toilet seat? Yes, you heard that right. So research has varied on just how many germs are crawling on the average cell phone, but a recent study found more than 17,000 bacterial germ copies on the phone. So please, our phones are infected. This is where I end today's Today in History. And Did You Know Live on GhanaTalks breakfast show. Do well to join me same time tomorrow for more.
I don't even know what to say. Our phones are what?
They are infected.
Hey, Then we shouldn't use our phones again.
James. Not that we shouldn't use our phones again, but I do agree with them because our phone is one thing we don't clean.
Yeah.
We don't wash.
That's very true.
Yeah. So it has more gems on it.
And if we are somewhere, automatically our phone is there with us.
Exactly. Wherever.
Hey. Even in the washroom set, your phone is there with you. So I can imagine the amount of germs or bacteria on your phone.
And you sometimes imagine when you even hold your phone, then you put your hands in your mouth, in your eyes, all that, attracting germs.
The normal basis. The more you hold your phone, you should get maybe a sanitizer.
Or even a wipe.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least.
It means every second you have to be washing your hand because
But
you can't do away with your phone.
You can't.
But when COVID-19 came, when you get sanitizer, you sanitize your hand, you sanitize your phone.
Everything.
Hey!
Your hair. And now
Also, baby kitchen cry you sanitize.
You sanitize.
and it really helped us a lot because we don't really take these things for seriously. And then it has landed us in cholera and other airborne diseases.
It is well. I mean, if not, these germs would have by human being.
So I just saw something.
Okay.
Just.
Just.
So MTN CEO, he says e-levy cannot be scrapped instantly without approval.
Hey, this man. Approval from who?
That was after Muhammad didn't sign the bill.
That was after Muhammad didn't
Yes.
sign the bill. This actually came yesterday in the evening.
I saw it around somewhere in the afternoon.
You saw it somewhere in the afternoon.
And Muhammad signed the bill. I think that was around 3, 4, 5.
And the Ghana Revenue Authority have actually released a press release that they should scrap it.
Hey, what are they waiting
Immediately, 2nd April midnight, e-levy is automatically scrapped.
Send me money and let's see.
I'll try.
Oh, don't try.
This
it.
one
I'll
like
try.
even 50 CDs or maybe 5 CDs. Like just to try and see
Yes.
if they will.
Oh no, I've had
send
people. No, I've actually had people try it. People tried it yesterday. And
But even before this bill was even signed, people were saying that the e-levy is no longer in use.
No, the levy
was.
was still in existence.
It was.
Yeah. Because I tried to send him money.
And the way people are bashing this man, in fact, they are roasting him. People are like, let me read some of the comments. When it was introduced, it took effect immediately, but now they are delaying. This country,
serious? Why are they delaying?
I
The
think.
person
Oh,
has
I think
signed.
when President Mahama was signed, they should have brought cake as well. Because when they were.
And
When they were,
champagne.
yes, because when they were bringing this
Implementing
e-levy
the
into
bill,
existence, there was a big cake. In
Seriously?
fact, there was a dinner party.
A dinner party, yeah.
So if it's been abolished, why not? Anyway, that will be a question for the gods. All right, so this is where we leave you for the first segment of the GhanaTalks Breakfast Show. Right after this, when it's 8 a.m., we'll be coming up with the news. Please stick and stay for the news in the second segment of the GhanaTalks Breakfast Show.
What do you want for breakfast? How do you want your breakfast?
English breakfast, French fries,
Koko Nikose, alo komi kesheto.
wache.
Well, Gobe is the real deal. Join us on Ghana Talks Radio. Let's serve you a buffet of breakfast.
From news headlines review, current affairs to social issues.
Entertainment, sports, and all the trending stories live on our mobile app and across all socials from Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
With me, Pakwesi Omare,
Regina Bliss,
Deborah Adoso.
and I am Esinal Fiagbedu. This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show.
Are you ready to amplify your business or brand's reach and make a meaningful impact in Ghana and beyond? Partner with Ghana Talks Radio today to connect with a diverse audience across Ghana and beyond. Elevate your brand through on-air promotions and social media. Boost your brand during prime time. With Ghana Talks Radio, you can extend your reach across digital platforms. Ghana Talks Radio is not just a station, it is a community hub where your brand becomes part of the conversation. Join us in fostering connections, celebrating culture, and making a lasting impression. For customized sponsorship packages and enquiries, email contact@GhanaTalksRadio.com or call +233 202 544614. Ghana Talks Radio, giving the youth a voice.
Hello Ghana, hello worldwide, I'm level band. Now listen, every Tuesday and Friday, beyond the time it's going to carry bro. Our Ghana Talks Radio, 7 p.m. sharp. Now Tuesday, we're gonna talk about our culture, our history. Martin Ding said about Kosem. No, on the Friday, you bars on bars. You better rap, you better say no artists go join me in the studio. We're gonna discuss about music and business. Or you singer and now you rapper, you think say you get bars, you go spit fire. Now listen, make you join me with studios. Our Ghana Talks Radio and yes say then our day. Me say download the Ghana Talks Radio app no our Play Store and App Store. No tune in and say this what you see baba live on Facebook, go Instagram, any Ghana Talks Radio page and so now listen. Ebe your fire. 1 year, Wading. Jajan.
Are you ready to amplify your business or brand's reach and make a meaningful impact in Ghana and beyond? Partner with Ghana Talks Radio today to connect with a diverse audience across Ghana and beyond. Elevate your brand through on-air promotions and social media. Boost your brand during prime time. With Ghana Talks Radio, you can extend your reach across digital platforms. Ghana Talks Radio is not just a station, it is a community hub where your brand becomes part of the conversation. Join us in fostering connections, celebrating culture, and making a lasting impression. For customized sponsorship packages and enquiries, email contact@GhanaTalksRadio.com or call +233 202 544614. Ghana Talks Radio, giving the youth a voice.
Ghana Talks Radio, #1. We bring you local news, business news, international, sports, and entertainment news. Right here on GTR.
Good morning and welcome to the morning news broadcast on Ghana Talks Radio. My name is Deborah Adoso. Coming up, Ato Forsen welcomes abolition of punitive taxes including e-levy. Court delivers verdict in Galamsey assault on journalist. Suspected stolen ECG cables found in Gumwa with truck driver arrested. In related news, John Jinapo reveals new twist and missing ECG containers. There's so many more coming up shortly in business and sports. Do stay with me. So our first story, President John Dramani Mahama has fulfilled his promise to abolish some nuisance taxes within the first 120 days of his administration. The abolished taxes include the electronic transfer levy, betting tax, and emission tax. This move aligns with the National Democratic Congress commitment to alleviating the financial burden on Ghanaians. Reacting to the president's approval, Dr. Ato Forsen took to Twitter declaring it as finished, signaling the successful completion of President Mahama's tax reform pledge. Moving on to other story, the Asankragua District Court has convicted Daniel Bedu for his attack on a group of journalists at the Edumanya near Asankragua Bremai in the Western region. The conviction, delivered on March 26th, marks a significant step in ensuring justice for the victims of the assault. Daniel Bedu was sentenced to a fine of 300 penalty units, equivalent to 3,600. In the event of non-payment, he faces 1 year of imprisonment with hard labor. The court's decision followed Bedu's change of plea to guilty. The incident, which occurred on February 21st, led to Bedu's arrest by the Western Central Regional Police Command. During the arrest, authorities recovered a Panasonic Lumix camera and an iPhone belonging to the journalist. Bedu has since compensated the victims for the damaged items, enabling them to replace essential equipment. The court, however, directed the police to release the compensation funds to the journalists, ensuring they purchase new equipment to enhance efficiency in their line of duty. Moving on, Member of Parliament for Gomwa Central, Kwame Asare Obin, has called for a thorough investigation after cables believed to be part of the Mason Electrical Company of Ghana goods were found in his constituency. In a Facebook post, A+ shared a truck carrying cables broke down in Gomwa, a town in his constituency. Residents suspicious the cargo might be linked to the Mason ECG items alerted the Swedro Divisional Police Command. The police, with the help of ECG officials, inspected the cargo, with the driver unable to provide clear details about the goods origin and destination. However, after further checks, ECG officials confirmed the cables matched their Mason stocks. As a result, the driver, his assistant and others involved have been taken into police custody while investigation continues. In a related development, the Minister for Energy and Green Transition, John Abdullahi Chinapo, has stated that the government is taking multiple steps to track down and secure the missing Electricity Company of Ghana containers. He mentioned the involvement of key institutions, including the Attorney General's office, to enhance a comprehensive probe and recovery process. The minister noted he has reached out to the National Security Secretariat to assist in securing the remaining containers. Meanwhile, reports revealed ECG claimed of having 2,491 uncleared containers was inaccurate, as an audit showed that only 1,134 containers were actually at port, leaving 1,347 unaccounted for. Here is what he has to say.
The Attorney General to conduct further investigation with the possibility of taking corporate. We've also written to NIB to institute a proper and forensic investigation to determine the whereabouts of the containers. But I've also personally written to the National Security Secretariat to help us secure the remaining containers, so that we can do a proper reconciliation of the containers. Because some containers are still stuck there. We need to secure them so that we can put them to good use, whilst we pursue those that cannot be accounted for. Thank you. Yeah, we've written to the attorney.
In the world of business, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, has started its fourth review in Ghana as part of the country's extended credit facility program for 2023 to 2026. The two-week mission, which runs from April 2nd to April 15th, will assess Ghana's economic performance and progress on structural reforms under the IMF-backed program. The review began with discussion at the Ministry of Finance and the Bank of Ghana, focusing on the country's fiscal performance for 2024. Over the next 2 weeks, the IMF delegation will engage with senior government officials, the central bank and other stakeholders to evaluate key economic indicators, including inflation control, monetary policy and structural reforms. The mission session will also assess Ghana's progress in meeting IMF targets related to fiscal discipline, economic stabilization, and debt restructuring. The outcome will also determine whether Ghana qualifies for the next tranche of financial support from IMF, which is crucial for maintaining macroeconomic stability. Finance Minister, on the other hand, Dr. Kaiser Latofosen, emphasized the government's commitment to economic reforms, citing the passage of transformative tax amendment bill, public procurement reforms and policies in the 2025 budget. He expressed confidence with the positive macroeconomic trends Ghana's economy could stabilize by May 2025 and stressed the importance of concluding the review on schedule. However, the final statement from the IMF is expected on April 15. To some sports, Ghana, Jamaica, Nigerian, Trinidad and Tobago will converge in London in May 2025 to compete for the Unity Cup in an event dubbed the best in the West, the Afro Classico contest. The tournament will feature 2 thrilling semi-finals showcasing Inter's regional rivalries. On Tuesday, May 27th, the first semi-final will mark the premier Trinidad clash on UK soil as Trinidad and Tobago Soccer Warriors face Jamaica Reggae Boys to determine the top team in the West Indies. The following day, May 28th, Nigeria's Super Eagles will take on Ghana's Black Stars in a battle for West African bragging right. The 4 teams will return on Saturday, May 31st for a double header at the same venue, with a third place playoff followed by the final to crown the Unity Cup 2025 champion. Nigeria 2-term Unity Cup winners may enter as favorites, boosted by their strong FIFA ranking and recent performances. And that's how we end for now on the morning news broadcast. Some headlines you heard was Atofosen welcomes abolition of punitive taxes, including e-levy. Court delivers verdict in Galamsey assault on journalist. Suspected stolen ECG cables found in Gumwa. The truck driver arrested. John Jinapor reveals new twist in missing ECG containers. Ghana IMF begin 4th review mission amid economic reforms. Ghana, Jamaica, Nigeria, among other African countries, to clash in London for Unity Cup 2025. And that's it. My name is Deborah Adosu. Thanks for making time with me. Good morning.
What do you want for breakfast? How do you want your breakfast?
English breakfast, French fries.
Koko Nikosi, alo komi kesheto.
Wache.
Well, Gobe is the real deal.
Join us on Ghana Talks Radio. Let's serve you a buffet of breakfast.
From news headlines review, current affairs to social issues,
Entertainment, sports, and all the trending stories live on our mobile app and across all socials from Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
With me, Pakwesi Omare,
Regina Bless,
Deborah Adosu,
and I am Esinal Fiagbedu. This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show.
Are you ready to amplify your business or brand's reach and make a meaningful impact in Ghana and beyond? Partner with Ghana Talks Radio today to connect with a diverse audience across Ghana and beyond. Elevate your brand through on-air promotions and social media. Boost your brand during prime time. With Ghana Talks Radio, you can extend your reach across digital platforms. Ghana Talks Radio is not just a station, it is a community hub where your brand becomes part of the conversation. Join us in fostering connections, celebrating culture, and making a lasting impression. For customized sponsorship packages and enquiries, email contact@GhanaTalksRadio.com or call +233 202 544614. Ghana Talks Radio, giving the youth a voice.
Hello Ghana, hello worldwide. I'm level Code Now listen, every Tuesday and Friday, beyond the time it's going to carry bro. Our Ghana Talks Radio, 7 p.m. sharp. Now Tuesday, we're gonna talk about our culture, our history. My 20 things set about Sam. Now on the Friday, you bars on bars. You better rap, you better say no artists go join me in the studio. We're gonna discuss about music and business. Konya, or you singer, and now you rapper, you think say you get bars. You go fi spit fire. Now listen, make you join me with studios. Our Ghana Talks Radio, and you say then our day. Me say download the Ghana Talks Radio app, no, our Play Store, any App Store. Na tune in, and you say this what you say. Baba live on Facebook, go Instagram, any Ghana Talks Radio page, and so now listen. I bet you fire. 1 year, Konya, Wading, Jajan.
is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show, your morning companion. This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show, your morning companion.
Good morning, everyone. Once again, you are welcome to the
Ghana Talks Breakfast Show right here on Ghana Talks Radio. As usual, this is your online radio station that you can stream everywhere you go. This is your only online radio station that you can take with you across the continent, both in Ghana and in abroad. You can be in any part of the country and still listen to Ghana Talks Radio. All you need to do is just get the app. That is all. And to join in our conversation, you can log on to our social media platform. On Instagram is Ghana Talks Radio, on YouTube is Ghana Talks Radio, and on X is Ghana Talks Radio. So I would like to use this opportunity to wish our lovely and ever able news host, Alweda Chese Bibia Oyebi Ohima Chimude, Miss Regina Bless. Happy birthday to you, Miss Regina Bless. Have a blissful birthday. God bless you. We pray that may this birthday bring you more money, more wisdom, more knowledge, and all the good things in this world. And then may the good Lord grant you your heart desire. Happy birthday, Ohima Chimude.
Thank you.
All right. So before we bring in our guest into the studio, I have actually found a very interesting topic that I think we can all relate with and then talk about as students as we are. I believe we are all still students, and then I think it's quite relatable that we can still talk about. That has to do with the impact of AI on students. You know, back in the days, I don't know, my lecturer keeps saying that in this generation that we are in, you are not obligated to fail simply because you have AI. When it comes to your academics, you don't need to fail. When you are given a task at work, you don't need to fail simply because there's actually a tool or there's a machine called AI that is going to, do all the work for you.
Exactly.
But when it comes to educational sector, I feel that has rendered most students lazy, and then most students haven't challenged themselves enough to think critically or to dissect issues. When you give them assignments or you give them something to go and work on, or when they are given a task, what they do is they go straight to AI. And to the extent of them not even reading, paraphrasing, or even checking if AI has given you a concrete answer. And I must say that is really affecting students a lot. So we are here to talk about the impact of AI on students and then on our academics. What can you say, Ms. Debbie, with regards to the impact of AI on students and then on education?
Well, AI as it is has its, I would say it has, I would say it has its positive
and then negative
aspect. You see, the positive aspect has to do with, sometimes they can give you, or you have a project to do, and it's like the little knowledge you have, you try to think more out of the box, and it's just too difficult. And sometimes you go to Google, you do research upon research, and Google will not actually give you a direct answer. You have to read and read, and sometimes you can read like 30 pages, and on the last page, that is where you're going to find the answer. And if you're not the type that really likes reading and stuff, you won't actually get the accurate answer you want. Even though Google helps a lot, because me personally, I use Google for a lot of my research. But when AI came into the scene, if sometimes AI doesn't give a correct, it doesn't give you the correct answer you are looking for. That is why it is good that when you search whatever you are searching on AI, you have to go back to Google to go and search for that same thing, to make sure that it tallies. Like this birthday celebrant I've been doing, sometimes you search it on Google, or you ask AI will give you a different date of birth. When you go to Google, it's not tallying. Then I realize that no, AI is not actually giving me the right fact. So I have to pick the one from Google. And you see, AI, for me, I'll say AI has helped in a way. One day I typed my surname. Can you believe AI gave me the meaning of my surname, everything?
And was it accurate?
It was accurate because I called my dad, and after reading, I called my dad and I was like, what is the meaning of my surname? So I listened attentively to what my dad was saying. I came back to AI, and trust me, I was like, goodness, like this never came into my mind. So AI has made, research, for me, I would say it has made research so easy. It has enhanced accessibility, but with the negative aspect, it has made students very lazy. I can't remember, they gave us a work at school and someone has to copy from AI. She copied from AI to the extent that she copied even, AI, after they've given you the answer, it's like they leave behind something that indicates that it's you got this answer from AI, and it was all part. And I was like, look at this. So the lecturer has to come to class and caution us on that. So AI has helped, but it has made students so lazy that they don't want to learn like everything AI. Like, first you have to sit on your book, you have to crack your mind so hard to get something. But with AI, immediately you pin into it, it comes. So this tells us how everything about education is evolving with technology. So this all boils down to technology. Those times we have the computer, we have other apps, but they were not able to do this. And I'm sure 3 or 5 years to come, there will be another app that will be more than AI, that will function more than AI, and that will also make research and everything more easier than AI. So AI, even in a way, doesn't give accurate answers, but see, let's be sincere and call a spade a spade. It has really helped. It has really helped because it's something that you need to do maybe within a second that can take you like an hour to do. Immediately you ask AI this and this, like it just give you the answer straightforward. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't cross-check your facts and ensure.
With this cross-checking, you sometimes give an accurate information to AI just so AI can elaborate more.
Yeah.
This AI, I don't know if he's a man or if he's a woman.
Oh, goodness.
AI will just be giving some answers.
I'm telling you, answers. So if you don't cross-check your fact, you write things.
let me bring this in. The last time I asked the AI that I need comparison between the past administration and this administration. Can you believe what he told me? That Mahama administration was the worst administration ever, as compared to Nana was like, AI, this one they want from because I can testify to the fact that I live with them. And also with what you said, that AI does not give detailed or accurate information. I sometimes feel they are biased. And I'll also say inequality, especially when right now you go to AI, you ask about LGBTQ. Do you know that they will never give you an answer on that? Really? They will not give you an answer on that. They will tell you that they can't provide you with this information.
So is it that AI is being biased or indiscriminate?
It's actually a technology.
But for a technology, I feel you should be all weather.
We don't. The issue is we don't know who this AI is. Whether this AI is a human being operating behind producer AI is an ass working behind a machine, or is a robot that has been actually brought up with this wires that can. You just ask a question right now and then you get the answer. You ask the question right now and then you get the answer. So you see very fast. And sometimes I think I was like, God, hey, people there. I know this thing. It is someone's. I would say yes. That actually. But see, in the next 10 years to come, another app will come that will be more than this AI thing. And I'm sure that one when you even clap,
you get an answer.
You will get an answer.
All right.
You will get an answer.
All right. Okay. So thank you so much for joining me on our short gist. Our guest is in for the main discussion for the second segment of the GhanaTalks Breakfast Show. All right. want for breakfast? How do you want your breakfast?
English breakfast, French fries,
Koko Nikosi, alo komi kesheto.
wache.
Well, Gobe is the real deal.
Join us on Ghana Talks Radio. Let's serve you a buffet of breakfast.
From news headlines review, current affairs to social issues.
Entertainment, sports, and all the trending stories live on our mobile app and across all socials from Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
With me, Pakwesi Omare.
Regina Bless.
Deborah Adoso.
And I am Esinal Fiagbedu. This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show.
Are you ready to amplify your business or brand's reach and make a meaningful impact in Ghana and beyond? Partner with Ghana Talks Radio today to connect with a diverse audience across Ghana and beyond. Elevate your brand through on-air promotions and social media. Boost your brand during prime time. With Ghana Talks Radio, you can extend your reach across digital platforms. Ghana Talks Radio is not just a station, it is a community hub where your brand becomes part of the conversation. Join us in fostering connections, celebrating culture, and making a lasting impression. For customized sponsorship packages and enquiries, email contact@GhanaTalksRadio.com or call +233 202 544614. Ghana Talks Radio, giving the youth a voice.
Good morning, everyone, once again. This is actually the third time I'm greeted. So finally, our guest just joined us in the studio, and we are here to talk about relevant topics and the news making waves. So Mr. Steve Dubik just joined us in the studio. Good morning, Mr. Dubik.
Good morning, AC.
How are you doing?
I'm good, and you?
I'm good.
Today our madam is not here.
Oh yes, so today our madam is not here.
Okay, I just spoke to our madam and then he said he's not feeling well.
Oh.
So let's wish him a speedy recovery.
Yeah, we are wishing Omari a speedy recovery.
Ompe abaya bina onwons we say no me na kaka.
Onyene.
Onwons we say no for me na kaka. Omano a lovely massage.
A lovely massage. Where a tender love care.
Yeah. Everyone no here enye ya dey bia. Eno
Omari, if you're watching this is not for me. This is for Mr. Dubik. You need tender love care.
Inti oni bia onko pebi.
Eso oni bia go pebi.
On tinsi area ho obenya fine wine. So no a fine man until obenya fine wine.
Miss Debbie.
Hello.
It happens today you have to join us for our discussion for today.
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
I'm kind of excited.
All right. So moving on to our first topic. The e-levy betting tax and other levy have finally been repealed. How do you feel about that? What's your reaction, Mr. Dubig?
Me, I've always said this, that e-levy was just a lazy approach.
Oh.
You know, all the promises that they made to us, they said you start, all the things e-levy was going to solve. At the end of the day, it turned out to be that e-levy wasn't that effective as they thought it could be. And I always do this. There's a difference between the actual value and the value in transaction.
Okay.
So if I send you 300 cedis and you transfer that same 300 cedis to Debbie, the transactional value now becomes 600 cedis. But the real value of the money is still 300
It's
cedis.
still 300 cedis.
But they made their calculation based on the transactional value and didn't factor in the real value of the money in the system. So they got all their calculations wrong. They thought that e-levy ebema yanyesika, but it ended up that it wasn't the way, and they wasted our money doing town hall meetings, doing cake. It did not help. The e-levy itself did not help. It was a nuisance tax that we didn't have to start in the first place. And I hear people making a lot of argument that you are cancelling e-levy. Where are you going to find money?
Yes.
Including
Yes.
even NPP people who supported Baumia. Baumia also said he was going to cancel.
Yeah, he
e-levy.
said he was going to cancel it.
So where was Baumia going to find the money?
A shock.
They were shouting, breaking the eight. But in the end, now you're saying that you don't even believe in the policies Baumia would have implemented? No. The whole issue of e-levy is that they didn't do their projections right. They got it all wrong. I always say this. Instead of taxing the individuals, why don't they tax the telcos, the companies that take the commission from the individuals? Because a day, imagine say a day, MTN can have like 1 million transactions. Imagine they are taking one city from these million transactions. How much is it? 1 million
That's
cities.
1 million cedis.
If you tax 30% or 20% of 1 million, how much do you have? You have 20,000. You have 20,000. But they felt that because it is the individual doing the transaction, and I heard people making the argument, and the 100 city threshold, the 100, including Eslosu, who came out to say that Utimi send 100 cities, Ghana ha
Then you have money.
You see, it is just annoying to hear some of these things sometimes, because I can go to work, and in the whole day, all I earn is 250 cedis.
Yeah.
As my daily wage.
Okay.
Then I come home, my mother tells me that Kofi me home family. I have to send money to her in the village. You get it? Then I send 150 cedis. Are you saying I'm a rich person for sending 150
cedis
to my mom? No, I'm not a rich man. But the whole thing is that since they ran out of options to raise money, they felt say baby like bibi look at betting tax. Another useless tax. If you want to stop the people from betting, if you want to stop the youth from betting, the best you can do is provide them with jobs. And one thing we are not even looking at is that betting is a huge industry outside Ghana. There are casinos.
Yes.
And the government tax the casinos, and what threshold be the government will tax you when you win. Of course, people will go there, win like $10 million, $1 million. If you are taxing that amount, it's okay. But if you want to tax like say 4,000, 5,000, maybe nipa no will try bet na loses kana bet 10,000. No yankopa yana don't know any. Just 4,000. Then out of the 4,000, you take 400 cedis. Is that fair? You're not being fair to the person.
And even with regards to that, they actually came out to say that they never implemented the betting tax.
We all know it was a lie. We all know it's a lie. Sometimes there are issues that if I realize you are not honest about it, I just ignore you. It's not like I cannot talk about it. I can, and I have a lot to say about it. But he himself, the man who made that claim, knows he was lying. So who then collected the bet?
Then who were the money going to? That 10% they deducted.
Who was it going to?
From those that won the lottery.
If the money never went into the consolidated fund, then he the former finance minister should be made to come out and tell us where the money went. There should be an investigation into that, because you get it?
Yeah.
So the whole propaganda and the whole trying to shape the narrative, it's not helping anybody in this country.
Okay.
They try to shape the narrative with e-levy, and look at where it has landed us. In all these things, in telling us that e-levy was going to solve our issues, you still ended up at the IMF.
Yeah.
You told us that if we allow you to take the e-levy, you will not go to the IMF. You took the e-levy and still went to the IMF.
So where did they get it all wrong?
In the calculations. They got it all wrong in the projections. You get it? They projected that the transactional value was the actual value of the money in the system, which wasn't.
Okay.
If I send you money and you pass it on when you are calculating for the transaction, it has increased. You get it? But the actual money in the system is still the same.
Okay.
You get it? So if I send you 500 cedis, and you transfer 250 cedis to Debbie, what is the transactional value? Now it is 750 cedis.
Yeah, 750
How much is in the system? It's still 500 cedis.
Yeah.
Because it can be mekan.
Yeah.
But these people thought that because transaction no acquire 700 cedis ninti sika no value ni bia ka ho enti ye benya sika. No, it wasn't like that. Sika no netia netie but matibia mo bi. Enti ama transaction no ayekese but the actual value of the money is still the same.
Okay.
And ebi kra na we send a 250 no ma da bi no ono akwa year free system no. Enti say 700 cedis in the kra na swat or system. You get it?
Yeah.
It's no longer 500. The 500 cedis what say because it's no longer the 500 cedis anymore because 500 cedis now the man. One man 250. I 750.
Yeah.
As transactional value.
Yes.
And wakwa 250 in a free system no.
Okay.
Into the money that is in the system is left with only 250 cedis. I hope you get my point.
Yeah.
But they got all these things wrong, and they felt that since I send it 500 cedis, I'm not circulating it there. 700 cedis, 750 cedis, which was all wrong. That is where they got it wrong. That is where they got it wrong. And I think that the targeting was also wrong. They could have even increased the threshold. Say, be a 1,000 cedis. You better be a 2%.
Okay.
1,000 cedis. Say, me send this 1,000 cedis amount.
Yeah.
Let's just say me will be a me send 1,000 cedis.
Yeah.
And I say we are conducting a business.
Okay.
What I say?
Yeah.
But say me show be 250 cedis. Now what? Timid e-levy there.
E-levy.
It doesn't make any sense. They could have increased the threshold to like 500, 1,000, 2,000 thereabout. A honor, you would understand that a transaction and it's not like he is dashing somebody the money or a gift or something. Or they could have even targeted the telcos, where they would have a lot more revenues. So see, even though the telcos pay taxes, but they don't pay tax on that commission no. And bear in mind that the interoperability is a government platform. Abiding a bill there. It is not a telco. Say mitimi efasika every a Vodafone. Na me send them out MTN no. That platform was not built by the telcos. It was built by the government.
Yeah.
So they should be paying for using that system. It is a if I transfer money to you on what do you call it? MTN.
Yeah.
Now Vodafone for a commission like say 10 cedis.
Okay.
I was a buy no enyamu be 7 cedis because platform now or the years are there no. Yeah, buying it there, telcos in there.
Okay.
So if they retarget and set proper policy in place, I think that they can get money from the e-levy, but it will be in a different format. And yet, many won't a best offer.
Okay.
You get it?
Yeah.
So I think that is where they got it all wrong. I think the new government should go back to the drawing board and see where they can target in the electronic transaction side and see where they can really make maximum they'll get maximum impact. You get it? But I for me personally, I think that taxing you and I for transacting just 100 cedis, transferring 100 cedis,
even as low as 50 cedis, they were still taking
250 cedis, 350 cedis. It doesn't make any sense. They took e-levy for 50 cedis when you've already transferred 100 cedis.
Yeah,
which wasn't right. Says you cannot endure 100 cedis. It shouldn't be taxed. It shouldn't be say medical 100 cedis that are maybe a tax. It doesn't make sense. Says you can endure 100 cedis. It doesn't matter the number of times I do transaction. Since you can do 100 cedis, it shouldn't have been taxed. It shouldn't have been say my year transaction 2025. Now ultimate tax. It doesn't make any sense. If I'm sending it to one person, I will understand. But if I'm sending it to different people, why do you tax me? If the money say I must send you 50 cedis, and I must send it there be 50 cedis, and I must send it a technician, and so 50 cedis. Producer 50 cedis. No. Momo de e-levy coming.
Yeah.
But on one the na me no in the day in the third time no I be amount to 150 cedis.
150 cedis.
And no e-levy can why? Go bet me and say one you know above 100 cedis. If you don't transact above 100 cedis, you shouldn't be taxed.
Okay.
That would have been better. But I say me and kakran no can boom. Nani going forward, a 100 cities are going forward. No better media. It didn't make any sense to me. So me personally, I'm glad e-levy has been cancelled. At least me hope to make a crack. But I do a lot of transactions.
Okay.
So when will it take effect?
When will it take effect?
Yes, when will it take effect? I have heard that MTN manager came out. I don't know how true it is to say that it's not going to take effect right away.
Right now,
but
immediately.
It was in the budget that we are cancelling e-levy.
Yes.
What were they waiting for? They could have made provisions.
Exactly.
And think Enra, our president, has sent it to the bill now.
Then it takes effect immediately.
What were they waiting for? I blame the GRA, not what you call it, the telcos.
But GRA has also has released a press release with regards to that the scrapping of the e-levy is taking effect midnight of 2nd April.
Which was yesterday.
Yeah, which was yesterday. So I don't know why
and
the manager...
And the MTN 42
So people are in the comment section are actually roasting them, saying that if the GRA has actually come out to say this, then if they take e-levy from your money, it should be refunded.
Of course, because that is how it should be. Say, what e-levy near trim, right?
Yeah.
And I'll say, systems and yanya.
Yeah.
So from the day e-levy mono, every transaction that we do, that you take e-levy from us. Once your systems are okay, you have to refund
all those monies.
Say GRA is what needs can be until 1 hour 10 what
they coin. You get me? So when it happens like that, I think it goes straight to the
it will go
MTN,
to the
but not to the government.
Yeah, because GRA is what needs can be.
Yeah.
GRA says I will not take the money anymore.
They are not taking the money again.
Who are you taking the money for?
MTN. Do something quickly.
Yes, of course they have to. All the telcos have to. I won't mention one specific telco to make it look like I'm targeting them, but they have to do something about this. It shouldn't be that the e-levy has been cancelled and for some number of days or for some number of hours it's still on. It shouldn't have even taken effect on the midnight. As soon as the president assented to the bill, the e-levy systems should have been shut down. It is just what do you call it? An algorithm on an app that do the deduction.
Okay.
Just shut it down. Take it out of the system. If it is you've coded it into your system, just go in there and remove the code. How is this difficult?
For? But who is supposed to be blamed for this?
You see, in this case, GRA taxed the telcos to take that money for them. So if you are saying you are no longer taking the money, tell them to stop it immediately. Whichever way they do it, you don't care. If they have to shut down the entire Momo operations to be able to get rid of the e-levy, make sure that nobody get taxed e-levy after the president has assented the bill. Because if I use Vodafone, I use Telecel.
Okay.
If Telecel, I do a transaction this morning, and Telecel tax me on e-levy, I can decide to sue.
Okay.
Yes. I can sue Telecel. I can sue GRA.
You have every right to.
And imagine the damages GRA would incur if somebody sues that the president taking that money was unlawful. You have to pay the legal fees. You have to pay the person compensation. You have to a whole lot of things. What you get it?
Yeah.
So since I when it was announced in the budget, and then the president after the budget was passed, the appropriation bill was passed, I think that it was days. We had the entire holiday period from Friday to Tuesday. You see, a Juma be holiday. You get it? There are some professions you don't go on holiday, and there are some workplaces. Once you work there, holiday, you are allowed to go on holiday, but if there's a project you are working on during the holidays,
you still have to
stay and finish the project. When you are done, they can give you days to go and then have that same number of days you should have had on the holiday. You get it. So but Ghana there, we to say a holiday into say me paper laptop in Hokrana and a holiday. You have to finish cleaning it. It's even if it will take you to the next day, finish cleaning the laptop, and the following day you can take your holiday, you can take your day off. But we don't have that culture here. And to say in your do holiday, I'm going to say a holiday in your you get it. But even in holidays, we should have somebody staying back, working. After the holiday, nipa na do in our bar. No, so call holiday. This is simple. So why should we have to suffer because it was a holiday and then MTN or the person in charge of taking these decisions and making sure e-levy is not charged after the president has assented the bill was on holiday too? What is he paid for? He's paid to do the job. So until the job is done, he should stay there and make sure the job is done.
Good. Miss Debbie.
Miss Debbie is quite today.
I see the e-levy to be a deliberate attempt to loot from the ordinary Ghanaians, because this is a tax that a lot of citizens didn't agree with, and we were made to believe that this e-levy is going to bring massive development. I didn't see any development, and if you have seen one, please draw my attention
not to cut you. But with regards to the objective they had, what did they state that the e-levy is going to
They said it's going to generate more revenue, and that revenue will be channeled into, everything that will bring development, every other thing or every other sector that is going to bring development into the country. And I think most especially they were actually taxing or creating more jobs for the youth. But here lies the case, this e-levy was actually bringing 2 billion, right? And we still can't find this 2 billion, and we don't even know where this 2 billion is, because no one came out to account it to us what they use the money for. Or have you seen any of them coming out to say that this amount of money, this is what we got out of the e-levy, and this is what has been used for? So abolishing this e-levy, I'm not the only person happy. Almost every Ghanaian is happy, because this is a tax where it's like from your own sweat. And as a government worker, even before your pay lands into your account, there are taxes you don't see that you've paid. They deduct from those from your payment. Then just imagine you're going to withdraw the money from the bank, and then you want to send money to someone, and they want to tax that, or they've taxed that again. It's like taxing from your own sweat after paying a lot. And we find ourselves in a country where we pay more taxes and we see nothing. We see nothing happening. So for me, abolishing the tax was a very good one. Was a very, very good one, because I'm happy. And as I said, I'm not the only one happy. Everyone is happy. Then comes the betting tax as well. Why would you tax like a bet or something? A betting tax, even with a bet, it's not guaranteed you win
or not.
And then maybe you're trying several times, and then God granting you the grace to win, and then they still take out 10% out of that.
So also for say betting a bonsama juma. Also say God will grant you the grace.
God will grant you the
God
grace.
will grant you the grace.
God cannot grant you a grace.
Oh, God can. He can do that. And you see, it is very bad. Excuse me, but no right-thinking country will impose a tax knowing fully well that it's going to bring burden and enslave the citizen. And this is a tax where we saw what happened. They pumped champagne on our heads.
So I was even expecting that even before the president signs the bill,
they have to pump champagne.
There should have been a champagne or maybe a cake or something.
E-levy cancellation cake.
Yes.
Because the way those people were actually happy about them bringing in the e-levy and these taxes.
They placed themselves there, forgetting that it was the same Ghanaians that they overlooked they were the same people that entrusted the power into their hands. But when they got there, when they got the power, they totally forgot about the same Ghanaian. And they were pumping champagne. And they didn't even do it privately. If it was to be privately, you wouldn't feel the pain that much. But this was done openly.
You can see that these people were actually deliberate about their actions.
All television stations were showing this, and I was like, look at this. People we voted for to help us are now doing things to help themselves.
They were telling you if you like it or not, you have to pay.
You have to pay. They made it mandatory. Yeah.
And they were even bold to come out to defend this e-levy.
But before they implemented the e-levy, what did they say it was going to do for the nation? Is that big?
Yes. They said it was going to help us with jobs. They were going to use the money to create jobs. They said it will be the reason why we wouldn't go to the IMF. They said they even launched a policy, a program to go with it. You Start. You remember?
Yeah.
How many people benefited from the You Start?
How many?
Very sad.
They said You Start. That it was a youth-driven policy where you would go there, they would train you. How many people were trained with the You Start? I think that we have to look into the e-levy law, what the law said we should use that money for, and then ask ourselves, have we used that money for it? If we haven't, those people in charge should be prosecuted. I'm all for prosecution because we need that I and to trade what 2 years savings and found could do and find your pay. And the annoying part of this whole thing is that after telling us that we wouldn't go to the IMF, they ended up going to the IMF and giving us DDEP, domestic debt exchange, giving us haircut on top of the e-levies that we were paying. Look at a big man like Kama, the man who owns Kama industry. It was one of the biggest pharmaceutical companies when we were growing up. The man, before he died, said because of this DDEP and then the banking sector cleanup, he has lost his money and he was suffering with a debt overhang, paying electricity bills and all that. Can you imagine? And all on top of that, if somebody decides to send this man 200 cedis, 500 cedis, now it's not an e-levy. Were you being fair to us?
Oh, that was so unfair to him.
If this man also get money and decide that, oh, my man ya krabi at dom channel 200 cedis, no, it's old man no e-levy.
Oh,
my old man ya ukwa. Now the man is dead, and now e-levy has been cancelled. If he were to be alive, maybe inka you try bonds in Ghana and Sabe Canada, but I'm sure the people he left in charge of his estate will
have to take over for it.
Yes.
So with regards to the betting tax, we spoke to some couple of investors, those that stick the bets, and they were actually complaining that they are not happy about the government taking away the 10% betting tax.
Right.
That person actually received a lot of backlash and then insults, simply because they were like, if the government was actually involved into this betting things and why they are taking the betting tax, they will maybe advise that the government should have been an intermediary between the betting sector and then with them as well, because here lies the case: some monies are actually being withheld when they win the lottery. That is what the person said, that he is unhappy about the government taking the 10% tax.
But did you ask the person if before he signed up to the betting, that bet company, he read their terms and conditions? You see, these are the things you normally ignore. For example, you download an app, you are trying to install. They go like, agree or do you disagree? Because you want the app, you just click agree.
You just click agree without
even reading what they are telling you. Maybe in this thing, there might have been this condition in it that certain amount will be withheld if you win the bet. But this person, out of laziness, didn't even read. He just agreed. So what do you expect the government to do for you when you've agreed on something? The government cannot do anything. You've agreed with the betting platform that when you win, they should withhold certain amount from you. So what do you want the government to come and do for you? The government cannot do anything. I say, well, the court be any because so they will ask you, did you see this? You say yes, but I didn't read it. Once you say I saw it, but I didn't read it, what a negligence.
Yeah.
You were negligent.
Ignorance is not an
yes,
excuse.
of course. So I don't get this new twist that people are putting. Say, oh, the old MPP to the extent say policy be on the by I can say me pay.
Yeah,
MPP but don't make what do you call it weird submissions like abandonment intermediary. Abandonment intermediary said the only the same amount.
Say or 10% when they win.
But the national authorities, the National Lottery Authority is there. It is a government company.
Yeah.
One a regulator in the sector. Obey what do you call it? Obey betting or higher, just all come Lotteries Commission or something. No acquired license. Right?
Yeah.
So intermediary payment I assume I
think that person is actually a confused person.
Yeah, of course.
And even with regards to that, the fair outbreak that happened recently at Enum, some market women were actually crying that if the government is taking the e-levy off, it's going to worry them. And I keep asking myself, why are you saying that? In what way?
You know, some of
do you think that them taking the e-levy off that we see as a relief to us is going to be a problem for them?
Over here, no, nipa no kasa onimomo. Oni phone bono.
I wonder if they understand what the e-levy is all about.
Women lacks education about all this. They hear it to be a very big English word, e-levy, and it's only they. And when they don't get the right person to explain to them, this is what the e-levy is. But at least as a market woman, don't you transfer money?
No, you see, the whole thing is that Yama politics a DD a team as a country. This e-levy cancellation, there will be NPP people who will see it as an attack on Nana Akufo-Addo's government.
Yeah.
They won't see it as a burden lifted off our shoulders.
Yeah.
So it will be like an attack. And Nana Akufo-Addo na di e-levy ba one person good anima asentino mu twemu. Inti men so nya opportunity na maka say e-levy na be boa pa. Also cry make say be mfie miensa na won send you obi esikada. Maybe since the e-levy was introduced, this person has never even sent money before.
Yeah.
Or even if she has sent money, it wouldn't be at a threshold of 100 cedis. If you are sending na 80 Ghana, that be a balance some person send no send 95. So this person won't say what she's saying or he's saying out of ignorance, but pure passion and political anger on what they can't say. What I say? Or no, on phone say we be sending 100,000 cedis for a transaction, and you are 10,000 Ghana cedis for e-levy. We send 100,000 cedis. The transaction is about 1,000 cedis.
Yeah, it's about 1,000 cedis.
So imagine, and this thing we always think say even crano why will transfer usika every or phone so they are called bank account. If your bank account is not linked to your phone, they will take e-levy, your own money.
That's very sad.
Yeah.
So this new government, with regards to them scrapping the e-levy, they've actually received criticisms and then backlash. This e-levy is actually one source of revenue for the government. So if you are taking it off, how is the government going to get income or revenue?
You see, our Greek ministry in Kwana under the previous government, you know, we have 5 ministers manning our Greek ministry. Our Greek minister in charge of cash crops, minister in charge of animal husbandry, minister in charge.
A lot of.
Okay, if you go to communication and what do you call it, information, they were separate ministries. If you go to railway, they had a minister for railway development. They had a minister for aviation. They had a minister for transport. Now aviation and transport. A flight more to Kwana and can't transport on railways any transport. So if you look at the cuts that the government has done, I think that they should be able to make up for the shortfall in scrubbing e-levy. How much was e-levy even giving us? Around 60 million. Do you know why they cancelled the Rule 2?
No.
They said Rule 2 wasn't giving us enough.
The road to wasn't giving us
yes,
enough.
the road to wasn't giving us enough. But Oko, look at the number of cars that we have in Accra. Just in Accra, people.
Yeah.
Just imagine if road to no, we will find a way to make, because there are people who live in Accra, they will never cross a road to. For instance, what Abeka, or yeah, Juma or Accra Central, road to never here or But if we find a way to add it to the insurance, if you're going to renew your insurance, you pay for the road to. Everybody will pay. Everybody, and that's, you know, the insurance company Nipanuko register and the number of cars will register. So getting that money wouldn't be difficult. But the road to ya coffee you know take home. And on a nim cars grow tram. Into the cars 100 club between catch us at 20 in HM. No, the music bro. Obende. So these are some of the leakages the government have to look at and plug the holes and make sure that we are able to maximize the potential of certain sectors. And I think that the road to is a way to go, because unya sika toka also to meet road to. Because I mean nisika me the better car no. Yeah, me tell me tax and fan kwaya kwan no ma wo mfa car no kofa so.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah.
So if you are driving, you have to pay a road toll.
A road toll.
So just to aid the maintenance of road now, what the car and you get it. And the road toll, the monies from the road toll should go to the road fund directly. And this is a consolidated fund money. It should go to the road fund, and they should use that kind of money too. You see, if there's a tax policy, I always cite this example. When JJ tried to introduce VAT in 1995, there were a hone enya akomi preko, a hone kufuado ne kwesi prat ne lawyer Otukoi or something. They came together and did the komi preko demonstration. The Royalist administration took the tax back, came back and told us that we are introducing this tax, and a component of it is going to do Get Fund. Get Fund, as I speak to you, is the biggest social intervention in Ghana. Forget about your free SHS, forget about your national health, what do you call it? Oko school BM, secondary school BM or Ghana ha. You see either a Get Fund dormitory, a Get Fund a dining hall, a Get Fund something. A tax handle. If you're introducing a tax handle, you should have a specific thing what the tax neighbor. For example, ESLA. We said our energy, there were debts in our energy sector, and we introduced it to pay the energy sector debt. And what did MPP do when they came? So instead of paying the debt, the money is coming, but it's going to pay the bonds. And they came to even tell the bond people that now they can't pay the bonds anymore. But we are still paying the ESLA. So where does the ESLA
Where
money
is
go?
the money going to?
You get it. So if you're introducing a tax handle, there should be a specific policy. What they pay. What you say. So I think that the government should look at things properly again and look at how he can really plug these holes and make sure that in as much as we are cancelling certain tax, it's kana so you get it. So that's what I think about that.
So I second the motion of reintroducing road tolls,
the toll goods,
because in a day, vehicles moving through that same route pays a lot. Even if it is 50 times you go and still be coming back, you will be paying the road tolls. For the number of times you'll be moving on that stretch, you have to pay the road tolls, and that road tolls helps us to get, even if we doesn't get enough, at least it can help us get sort of revenue that will help the country. So in as much as the e-levy is cancelled, I know the government with the finance minister, I know they are putting things in place to ensure that there will still be a way out for us to generate more revenue into the country. Then I think we should optimize our natural resources as well. Proper management of our natural resources, like the gold, the oil, and all the stuffs can also help us. This gold, is it gold board or whatever?
Gold bond.
No, it's
Gold board.
bond.
It's gold board.
Yeah.
Gold board.
Yeah.
Yeah. That Sami Jevin is bringing on board. You know, these golds that we mined are not being sold in the country. It's being sold outside, and it's like we are bringing out the gold here, or we are digging out the gold here, but then we are dashing the money to other countries.
So why are we not enjoying it ourselves?
We are not enjoying it ourselves. So with the gold board, it's like you mining the gold, and then instead of you sending it out to sell, and sometimes to illegally, most of these golds, especially the illegal miners, no illegal miner will mine a gold illegally and then sell it to you. Definitely they are going to smuggle it out of the country. So with the gold board, one is to prevent this smuggling, illegal ways of smuggling gold, and also this gold will be sold directly. It's like you mining the gold and then selling it directly to the government. This is not a case where you mine the gold and then we mine gold and we claim to have a lot of gold in our land. Ghana is rich with gold, but we don't enjoy the benefit of we having the gold. We get it and then it's being smuggled outside, it's being sold outside. So I feel like when we optimize our resources like the gold, the oil, the bauxite and all those we have, it will still help us generate revenue. Then I also saw this increased tax to GDP ratio. So we can also focus on expanding its tax net to encompass the informal sector, which will increase the tax to GDP ratio. So I feel all this will also help us to, aside the e-levy. We just have this mind that since we've cancelled e-levy, there is no other way the government can generate revenue to the country. And just as the previous government sat down and they had this idea of bringing e-levy that was so nuisance to Ghanaians, I believe that this current government will also sit down and think about their way out. But our prayer is the next tax they'll be introducing shouldn't be worse.
Well, have you heard of them introducing any other tax?
Not yet. I haven't heard of any. I don't know if my big brother
has. Mr. Dubik, have you heard?
No. I've not heard of any tax that will be
any new introduction.
Yes, of course. Even if a tax will be introduced, I don't expect it to be this year. I expect it to be in 2026 or 2027.
Okay.
Of course, you see, you can't build a nation without taxes. But your tax policy should be reasonable.
Yeah.
See, you don't tax the poor. You tax the rich to take care of the poor.
Okay.
That's the whole reason behind taxes.
But they are all one people. Why tax the rich and not the poor?
If you are to tax the poor, what will you be taxing?
They equally have properties.
Make us say we see Kenya once.
No, the poor equally have properties.
No.
Why would you tax just the rich and not the poor? We are all in the country together.
The rich are looting, and the poor are not looting.
That's why it's nyepe. Mene Brian Champon, yenyepe.
Okay.
Mene Canada Japan, enyepe. Assemble Sika Canada Japan be about a minute minimum 1/10. You get it? So, no, you see, near Wonya do one. Any etina kakra, the boy near Wonya Bukra. Nanyonya Bukra knows I'm what then I what here. What will you be taxing if you decide to tax the poor? You tax the rich to make the poor feel a little bit comfortable, cushion the poor. You get it? So if you go to America, they are what do you call it? They have shelter for poor people. They have food banks. You get it? Donald Trump near California, America, and they attach more tax near the yes and no.
Okay. So are you saying that there should be special tax for?
No. That's what I'm saying.
There should be special tax for.
No. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that the more now wunya no, the more now yet here. You get it? So for instance, if let's take the e-levy for example.
Okay.
If I send 1,000 cedis, you better me say 10 cedis.
10 cedis.
If you send 200 cedis, I better was saying
20 cedis.
200 cedis.
2 cedis.
2 cedis. Sorry.
So me no no why ni attend kese. So you understand my point now?
I get you.
So that's how tax is supposed to be. So if you are bringing a tax policy, you should look at the tax policy that I'm bringing. How does it affect the poor? You get it?
But looking at our current government in the country, really, do you think they consider all of that before?
They should be considering, but
I don't think they do.
The reason why I think the new government has decided to cancel this thing is because they've considered that. The reason why the old government introduced it might be because they never considered it, or they did and they didn't care.
That's evil.
It's not evil.
It's evil. Evil to the highest point.
You see, I always say this. There's no politician who comes to power with the aim of just destroying people or destroying the nation. Sometimes certain nations, they don't get it right. And it's about time they have to admit and say that this decision, we thought this could have been the outcome, but we got it wrong. This e-levy thing, this whole MPP losing this election thing, if they had been honest to Ghanaians and said that, oh, we introduced this, we introduced that, we introduced this, we thought this would have been the outcome, but we ended up in a worse situation. If they had admitted being open to Ghanaians, ask for Ghanaians for their suggestion, not just their suggestion. Keke, take their suggestion and try to implement it. You see, when Baumia came out to say, "I'll cancel this, I'll cancel that," people, what did people say?
People were saying, "But you are there. Why haven't you cancelled it? Why do you want to wait to come to power?"
And you even spearheaded it.
So if they had decided that they will listen to the suggestions from Ghanaians and try implementing it, even the last year in power, Ebian Kenya 41% in Omia. Commit me about money in 45. You get it?
Yeah.
But now they didn't, and the new government is in a situation that they have to clear their mess and try to build the nation, which is double tax. If they had cleared their own mess, now the new government would have focused on building. But you see, there's mess to be cleared and there's a nation to be built. So I think that also almost starting normal fat and some some of them opportunity no many yes you get it. So it's about time the people in higher places have to listen to advice and start implementing some of this advice and give credits to it. This wasn't our plan, but the people of Ghana told us that let's do this. And we did it, and it worked. If we start building our nation that way, I think we will move forward.
If we start building our nation that way, I think we will move forward. And that was for Mr. Dubig. This is still the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. You can join the conversation on all our social media platforms. On X, it's at Ghana Talks Radio. On YouTube, it's at Ghana Talks Radio. Facebook, on Ghana Talks Radio. Alright, so moving on to our next topic. This has to do with Galamsey, the fight with Galamsey. And we are all aware how Galamsey has become a big headache. It's actually a crisis for the country. Now, the fight against Galamsey is a temporary ban on mining the solution to Ghana's Galamsey crisis. Do you think a temporary ban or maybe a suspension on the mining of Galamsey or on Galamsey is the best way to solve Galamsey in the country?
You see, mining itself is not a bad thing. Mining itself is never a bad thing.
Okay.
But how you mine is where the problem is. If we say we are banning mining in Ghana, are we banning the Newmont, the Anglo Golds? Are we also banning those companies?
No, I don't think we are.
You see, so we cannot ban mining. What we can do is ban a specific type of mining, which is the surface mining.
The surface mining.
That one we can. And if we ban surface mining, what we are doing is that we are clearing all the small scale mining companies because they are the one mining surface on the surface.
Okay.
Newmont be two as an form. Anglo Gold be two as an form. And Omako Gold. But the likes of Akwanta mining, to media. One of the could do assassin and you know my horror. You get it? So the best thing that we can do as a state is decide that surface mining is not for us. If you want to mine, it has to be deep mining or underground mining. And no one ever grant a permit. Until we are able to do that, the Galamsey fight won't go anywhere. Because at the end of the day, you tell me my money say me in fact me shovel and me pick out some coordination into a mine. And I mean to me in fact I'm finding because you know so a mine. Are there china wound to me? The caterpillar what do you call it? Caterpillar name caterpillar. Or the caterpillar ejina turn on in forest mo to go. Oh yeah there me tiase. Because to me was say to me dia. I was saying so do big means me dia. What I say?
Yeah.
Indeed, these are the reasons like we are being selective in our fight of Galamsey. When I always make reference to the previous government because Mahama Bayano, it is just how many months? 3 months.
3 months.
And I never expected Mahama to use 3 months and fight Galamsey. And until if I'm talking about Galamsey, I'll always base my argument on the actions of the previous government. The previous government actually got Galamsey worse. You know what they did? When they came, they banned mining.
Yeah.
That's why I don't should I believe in this ban mining thing, ban mining. They banned mining and stopped people who they believe weren't aligned to their political ideologies from mining. And when they raised the ban on mining, they gave their concessions to their people. Adena na mo say enye na mo si yenya. Yeah, be mo dia mama nkrofo so omunye. And you could hear their party secretary saying party here sika nti e man nkrofo kwan no omunye Galamsey. And if you look at all these things, if you look at where we were 8 years ago and where we are now in terms of Galamsey, it is worse.
Yeah, very worse.
So if we are to look at it holistically and actually implement policies to stop it, it shouldn't be the banning thing. It should be a licensing regimen. Oh, Babaji license now. Do you have the capacity to mine sustainably the way we want you to mine? We must check your personnel, you must check your equipment you're going to use and all that. You see, these people even go to the mining sectors, they take the mining without even having what do you call it, proper engineers. How do you even reclaim the land? Do you know? Do you have an expertise in reclaiming land after you've mined? Oh, by what's your Jessica Bito? When you come for mining lease, we have to take some money from you and put it down. Just like when you go and then rent an Airbnb, they take some money and when
in case you damage anything,
of course we have to take money, put it down. Koye adwuma wa asase no so na wa anye ne yie uwie na wa reclaim asase no enua so na de sika na kwakoye den akwakoye wo ye nso anu abaji sika ko. Mining in river bodies should be a no-go area. Mining in forest reserve should be a no-go area. It shouldn't be somewhere that we even allow people to go. In the olden days, when we were kids, if I say olden days, it will be like I'm over 70 years old. Let's say when we were kids, in our villages, there were forest reserves that you weren't allowed to go there. That places were sacred. You see, but our forefathers were so sensible to the extent that they knew the value of trees and having forest reserves. So look at Achimota Forest.
Okay.
Wamoteto, how many years?
Achim.
Do you think those who did that were dumb?
No.
And we are now sensible. We the sensible ones. And yeah, I buy us a John, they are a well, I'm an abuser.
Yeah, true. That story.
So we have to go back to the drawing board and know that forests are reserved for a purpose. they say the last man dies when the last tree dies.
Okay.
So we shouldn't touch forest, regardless of how, what do you call it, rich the forest is with gold deposit. We don't have to touch it. Once we say a forest, let's leave it like that as forest. And I think the day I hosted the program, Pakwasi said that now they are trying to mine in Briwa along the coastline. Do that?
How?
I don't want to use strong words.
Use it.
But this is stupid. This is stupid. You see, fish.
Yeah.
We eat fish. And then Nchwe is around 16,000 to 20,000. But fish, they ukra 20 cities grow to me.
Oh, you can
salmon.
buy fish.
Yeah.
Quite affordable.
Masaya Sasana say a pronounce where one you'd be did you
But what are they going to look for? Why? What is there?
There are gold deposits along the coast.
But come
Why
on.
do you think they name Ghana Gold Coast?
But to the extent of them going all the way there.
That's how far we've gotten to.
You see, I disagree with the shoot to kill policy because I believe that if we say shoot to kill, there are going to be SSS. There are people who are just trigger happy. They will kill people without
reasoning.
Yes, they are triggered. We can kill. They will kill. Even election it's not they were killing people. Now imagine say you tell them that if you go to the Galamsey site, shoot to kill. You see, Galamsey site, it is in communities, right?
Yes.
In communities.
So why don't they?
It is not isolated from the community. So if you give the shoot to kill policy, now a phone call time could coincide with time a soldier for an alcohol shoot to kill people. What happens to Nipa now?
They kill an innocent
exactly
person.
But you started this Galamsey fight for the past 8 years. Mentize will be a court.
No, I've not seen that.
Have you heard that? Oh, this one was a Galamsey and no. You're coaching or Galamsey site.
I've not seen that.
We're watching a police station where man now I shall want credit be too good organ have saying you. Emma or Safoma for Bacatcher say Bosnia Carbon China nti ya nyana hwe ni jana no ko. So I think that we have to be stern in implementing the laws and prosecuting people. It shouldn't just be as soon as you offer a question of Galamsey site jano. And we have to find one more Galamsey in the big men behind the Galamsey.
Behind the Galamsey.
Because maybe tell you I cannot afford the excavator.
Yeah. Who knows, maybe you can.
I can't afford an excavator. So we have to find those who are buying the excavators. And excavator no and yet a keyword and other show with them.
Hey.
A pot neighbor.
Yes.
Who is importing the excavator and for what purpose?
Those
and what purpose are you bringing it in? If you are not able to provide any reason, you should tell yourself, "Fako baby at the beko," and I say, "I buy never Jeffrey them." But if we allow people bring all these things, all this machinery into the country, and you encourage they will end up putting it at use in the Galamsey site. Chamfine yenye Ghana. Yeah, craft China.
Yes.
And the chamfine bar pot on nim. But do
you think it's right for them to be asking questions like they quiet there?
It's good. I'm sure if they were asking questions, even though those containers wouldn't have.
But those people can equally lie and then use it for their activity.
You see, when you lie, do you know that it's a crime to lie to a public officer?
Oh, it is.
Yes, it is a crime.
Is there a law?
Yeah, it is law.
Oh,
it is a crime.
I've not heard of it before.
Yeah, it is.
Because we've normalized it. Actually.
No, it is a crime to lie to a public official who is doing his official duty. For example, say GRE for Baha. No, be busa me say laptop me turn saying. Na make me can throw just to bring the value down. So taxes are made to also would be minimal. It's a crime. Oko police station. Na investigation. Ye busa wasem. Na uchantra. It is a crime.
Okay, for that one I know, but I didn't know.
GRE for na wo port no. any SEPS official na ɛwɔ hɔ no, do you know they have the same powers as any law enforcement agency in this country? They work with the laws. In this old report, na utwa ntro ho ye bisa say ade we excavator o de kwere na say oh me o construction company na ebe wi akire be hu say excavator no any construction site na aka say wo de kono na o galamsey site what twa ntro. Your excavator should be seized. You should be prosecuted for lying to a public official and using your equipment for criminal intent.
But are these things actually working in our country?
They are laws. You see, Ghana is a beautiful law country. We have the laws here. We have the law. Everything
beautiful
in Ghana.
Laws.
Everything in Ghana. So Ghana lawyer drafted a mramawa over bonsem, but implementation of the law becomes a problem. If we start looking at things from this angle, stopping the crime even before it is committed, I think that we can fight Galamsey. Galamsey should be something we stop it even before it starts because we know how it starts. You know say before say ni panabe Galamsey no or kwaje concession or kwaje small scale license. Yeah. So if you know this, then stopping it shouldn't be a problem. If you come and I don't give you the concession, if you come and I don't give you the license, how do you do it? So I applauded this government when they came and then cancelled licenses that were issued after December 7th. I actually thought that they were going to cancel licenses that were issued since 2016 or since 2017. But it is a start. And it is a start. I think that one good step that they've also done is the community mining, because they said it's a community mining. By the end of the day, obi te akra na akwaje concession wa mpasatia. O sorry ana oko hu no hene na no amana kakra o me be community mining. Nso no free krom ho. The people at Impasentia would not even benefit from the mining that's all you know. They will suffer the consequences or the after effect of mining no be no, but they will not benefit because if we are cry or a big man or nisika no aban percent no abaje concession no we or the nisika ko wa anya hwe wo kromo ni bi am benefit apart from say okotu anwa ni bi ewi ya ye ma no ni liberal fees. Aside that no ebi any so we they brought this community mining with like I don't want to use like as what dying. Like they just schemed to make sure that their people were the ones behind the community mining. Name one community Ghana community mining or some mining company no for the community. Name one. Ebini ho. Obekono individual bi na enye nisika no akoto machines no de kwa community so and akwaje community mining license no so or community mining. All this, we know how the crime begins. We know how the crime starts. So let's prevent the crime before it even starts. And untina, if you go to the police station, they will arrest me. Yeah. Because it is the beginning of something. Yeah. It is the beginning of a crime that I intend to commit. You intend to commit. So to even prevent me from committing the crime, I must be arrested, prosecuted for threat, or even made to sign a bond that if something happens to you, I should be held liable. So if we know how the crime begins, preventing it shouldn't be difficult. We know, say, one the excavators nebe. So we should grant concessions to only mining and only construction companies to bring in excavators. And if an individual need an excavator, onko district assembly, not district assembly no, MP excavator no, ebi mano, non fanko any other bay. If we are able to do this, why the bit in your cry excavator no they acquire mining or they acquire illegal mining? And I said this at that time that once you are able to afford an excavator, you are no more a small scale miner.
Small scale mining.
Ultimate excavator, a small scale should be or the head pan and shovel. Equal to form.
The small scale one is rather creating bigger problems.
Now, ultimate yesika koto excavator. Also, we are small scale. Now, excavator, another boy is saying. How much is the excavator? Also, we are small scale miner. You are not a small scale miner. And all these things, we should track them. We should find ways to track this excavator. Excavator no be do abino entity and office. I be monitor all excavators in Ghana. If that is what you have to do to prevent Galamsey, because shovel ne pickers no and say as an excavator
no
ahode nipa na de one full day in a bit me to anwea excavator na de ebe scooping one bucket no excavator bucket no
yeah
what the sa anwea na the whole day ebe tu sa anwea na excavator na sa no so me yes the peasant miners and say as no to say excavators na awya ma kwan am small scale no who the excavator mine also a small scale miner. Does this make any sense?
No, it doesn't.
So we have to find a way to stop these things from coming into the country. And if we allow them to come into a country, we should have a specific purpose. And we should allow them, we should create the agenda for them, set the agenda for them to follow. And when this one, not them runnable, we can track these excavators. We can put tracking devices on these excavators.
So there's actually a comment on YouTube. This is, he said, we just need a state of emergency or else nothing is going to change. Well, people are actually bashing this new government. That you said in your manifesto, if you come, you are going to make sure that you put things in place to ban illegal mining, and then you are in office for 4 years now. You've not done anything
for 3 months.
For 3 months, are you aware that illegal mining is a state of emergency? So what is the government doing about it? Don't you think it's too early for them to be bashing the new government?
I'm sure that those who use state of emergency, they've never experienced a nation in a state of emergency.
Why do you say so?
You can't state it for emergency. The military takes over. Running things now becomes a military operation.
So why haven't...
I'm coming.
Okay.
There are people who are engaged in this small scale mining who are doing it legitimately. If you say we are doing state of emergency, you are stopping all of them,
including those with the licenses.
Of course, those who are doing it legitimately.
Okay.
You are stopping all of them. And just imagine stopping mining entirely in Ghana. Those who are mining legitimately. Do you know the number of people Newmont employs in Ghana?
No. But
do you know the number of people Anglo Gold employs in Ghana?
No.
Do you know the number of people Takwada mines employ in Ghana?
No, but I guess it's going to be a lot of people.
Of course. So we can have this conversation about state of emergency on mining, right? We can have a conversation about it. I'm not discounting it. But the whole issue is that once you say something, you say we are in a state of emergency, it means all mining activities ceases.
So why don't we, those that are mining legitimately,
so now we are having a conversation. It's not something the government can just say that I have stopped it. It should be a conversation. It should be a process.
Yeah. So why don't we put them on suspension, and then those, like, we suspend it for maybe 3 to 4 years.
Those who are doing the mining legitimately.
Yes.
So how would they pay the people they've employed?
Oh, but here lies the case. This is actually affecting us. It's affecting our water bodies.
But they are doing it legally.
But it's affecting.
They are not. They are not polluting your waters.
Are you sure those people are doing it honestly?
No, they are not polluting. Do you have any
I don't have any evidence
to say that they are not doing it? You see, they are not polluting your waters. And when they came into the country as investors, you sign an agreement with them. What are the terms in those agreements? And how does banning mining affect those agreements? Will Ghana be liable for certain things in the clauses, the contracts, the agreements we had with them? And how much is the penalty going to be? You see, I understand everybody who says that, oh, Galamsey is destroying our waters. Let's tackle Galamsey and leave mining to be.
Okay.
Let's tackle Galamsey and leave mining to be. If you want to ban something, it should be banning in river bodies and banning mining in, what do you call it, in forest reserve. If you are able to do this, Galamsey na yesu no nyina no. Wo mo dwabom ne yemfa wo ho. Wo mo ko Anglo Gold, Ashanti, Asa Aseswa, like the shaft that they had decommissioned. We are concerned about anyone more forest, those are the ones we are concerned about.
Right.
You get it? So if somebody sits somewhere and say, "Oh, let's ban mining entirely. Let's put state of emergency," you don't know the repercussions of banning mining entirely. Even if you ban mining for a day in Ghana, do you know how much Ghana will lose as a nation? Do you know how mining supports the economy? Just one day, sit down and decide to take the contribution. Just research on the contribution of mining on our GDP.
Okay.
If we have a problem with certain aspect of mining, let's deal with it. But let's not lump all the issues together and now give the dog a bad name just to hang it. Because Anglo go to on almost say wounds you. Anglo go they say wounds you are come out and say Anglo go do say means you jai or ban them from mining. Let's look for the corporate of one more say you know near more say for example. Let's deal with them. And there are ways we can find them and deal with them. Just as I just said. First, they don't just go into the forest and start mining.
Yeah.
They don't just go to the river bodies and start mining. When they bring their concession for licensing, we'll buy a map. And we know all where the map and also where it's a forest and where it's a river. So we can just reclassify it, take the forest out, take the river out, tell them say you cannot mine close to here, you cannot mine close to here, but you can go and mine. But don't mine close to here. When you come out there and find out that you are mining close to here, if it is a limited liability companies, we know the shareholders, we know the managers, we know the directors. If it is a sole source company like Akwanta Mining, we know who owns Akwanta Mining. We come after you, the owner, and let's punish 5 people for Galamsey. Galamsey in Ghana. Just 5 people. All this fight, yes, all this fights about Galamsey, you know. Me who Galamsey, me who Obia, why Galamsey, me Jelino. Me who be Ghana. I've not seen that. I'm yet to see it. If Obia who be on cabin chair, but me who be why Galamsey, me Acheno Jelino. Kejim for a shane excavators on Nanamo. Campaign Granos and Diba, me achi. Akuf a friend saying, to me, acquire be or forest man. And why somebody Akufo-Addo Nankasa and defending Nankasa as the time he was speaking, Akwanta Mining wasn't engaged in any mining in any forest reserve. We know who the corporates are. Yet ye man to me Nimubia or Galamsey or investing in Galamsey. We know. So instead of making those unnecessary noise and say let's ban mining near there, why can't we just start pointing people out? Say we were Galamsey, let's start reporting them. If you go to your village and you see there's a Galamsey going on, call the authorities and tell them there's a Galamsey going on here. But look for who the owner of that site is and report him as well.
But what about the chiefs in those communities? Do you think collaborating with them will eradicate?
Of course. But also at times there too may be a problem.
I said
you see, when you go to Doma, Doma Hene say or no, he won't allow Galamsey on any of his lands. And go to Doma lands and see. There's no single Galamsey there.
So why won't the other chiefs do same too?
Do you think that in Volta region good in here?
Oh, there is for sure.
So we need to cry your vote.
Yeah.
Your hometown, your home region. Go to Hopa. But I didn't know to go to. Why are they not?
I don't think the chief will allow it.
So if I have for now, how can me to Galamsey? What's he saying? Come bomb near. How do we fight it? I'm not trying to attack any chief here.
Yeah.
But look at the eastern region. Look at the eastern region.
Especially when you go to Chibi. The last time I went there, we actually went to shoot a documentary for one company. I've forgotten their name.
Don't even mention their name before
I'm really scared.
If you look at eastern region, western region, and Ashanti region is the hub of Galamsey.
Hey.
Galamsey na kese nyina sa area ho na ye no. Greater Accra has a him na Galamsey. Okay, say good in here.
Yes, the issue of Galamsey.
You see, yeah, so and name be so manaba be an albatross around our necks. When we talk about Galamsey, we are quick to blame the government. But government to me was to a certain level. The rest now when the power ni nyina share ohenenensa. Imagine say me call concession. Say me go to Galamsey o CNG mention me kra say. And I me go do na CNG hene say masa asisu de wakoje concession na kra na memfa masa asisu you to go do. Do you think I can go and mine?
No, you can't.
Meje concession no ha wi na me do CNG mention a me ma CNG hene 4,000 cedis a ono na be fashion up. Akwako gina asase na mbetu gold no so agu nsa se nyang asase ya ne twedi ampon wo mommoa na gold na mebe no emra kese. So how does this greedy bunch of chiefs help in fighting Galamsey if they are complicit in the Galamsey issues and in itself?
But even if they are involved, can we persecute them? Can we arrest them?
Arrest the chiefs? Oh, what check kuruzu hene. And then we want to allow mauda. You see, it's about time. It's about time. We have to. I always say this: decouple institutions from crime. Or your hene no di bonia. Or your hene no di bonia.
Yeah.
Yamfana hen semonton chain. Let's deal with him as the criminal that he is.
Do you think it will work?
It can work if we decide that we want it to work. Yeah, if we decide that we want it to work, it will work.
Which political party will be bold enough?
I said
hit on a chief.
It will be difficult, but we have to stand our ground and do it. And I think that is the main reason why up to now we are not able to stop illegal mining. Because we feel like aside the president, there comes a chief. And we all know certain tribes in this country that they do not joke with their chiefs.
Yeah.
Even if you say something very bad against their chief, they can send people from the palace and the street here to come for you, come and answer questions. Why are you spoken against our chiefs? But here lies the case. We all know that maybe what this chief is doing isn't going to help. So talking about it, you are coming to arrest the person. So till we realize that no one is above the law, and when you wrong or you go against it, you have to be prosecuted or jailed. Then I don't think certain laws can work in this country, because I cannot stand up and go to a place without seeking the consent of the leader, the chief, because the chief is the leader of the community, and then start to mine. It doesn't happen like that. And you can't tell me that people mining in this community, that illegal mining is very rampant. You can't tell me that chiefs in those communities know nothing about what is going on.
Or they are not even involved in it.
They are.
You see,
in a way.
DCs are the heads of DISEC in the district. If we can stop Galamsey, we should now find ways to say that DC Galamsey Kosovo district biano yibe yiwodi. What about this? What about Galamsey Kosovo district yibe yiwodi? Yiwodi so we should make laws to make sure that we can prosecute you for allowing a crime to go unpunished in your district.
That would be.
But this is no. See, I don't want to cry. I bind that no more Galamsey for an a Oh, we could be almost cut on the court DC. One more cut on the Boka Coma, a police, a commander or district. Now, can yes, sir, Uncle Bunsuni say, you know, her police station at Chi, or more to Galamsey say, every police station.
Oh, come on.
Na police for Teho.
Monyeshi. On so much.
Hey, kakra bomb ho. So if we are able to say that the police district commander and I say DC, these people, mo district hono se galamsey cost wo ho a ye be yi modi he regardless of the amount of sika galamsey at the be bre omo no wo mo nje. I just hope that the new government would make it a caveat in DC for now more appoint to omo no na wo mo de aka wo mo adwuma ho say o magalamsey cost wo mpasua so na say o district ye be yi wadi. If we are able to do that, I think fighting galamsey wouldn't be difficult because soja ni no emfri Kumasi ana Accra enkoduru baby a ye galamsey no na DC nate no afre galamsey chale beba operation no na police commander no ho nate chale beba police beba operation no but the adwuma no e hye omo ho na ansa na e ka chom say wantimi anya this is the punishment for you won beye ohwe na ebro no so a be report oh adwuma na ya abro mi so ma ya mi ntimi mo bi a mo fa mebo ame. But we don't have that now, and then everybody is taking advantage of the system near there. You get it? Inti ebasa so no so obema this obema galamsey na kwaso o kakra na wanya kakra she na botoma. Obey. It's all about our will to fight this galamsey.
Yeah.
And you ntimi nya mo ai nipa ba akofo so. E wo so obi a play ni role to make sure that we eradicate this galamsey menace, because I'm here some years to come you have to import water to drink.
Oh yes.
Because I remember some days ago I opened my tap and the color of the water coffee coffee we crowd sugar.
It's actually serious to the extent of Komfanochi Teaching Hospital suspending surgical cases simply because they don't have water.
Barakese dam yin susu ano na ba Barakese dam excursion and it is the second largest dam in Ghana after Akosombo.
Okay.
So say offense you no natifi ho no wo matu galamsey ya ma Barakese dam no kra the integrity ama anwea na omutu horo no aba be tie dam no. So at a point in time we have to close the Barakese dam down and clean the dam so that we can make sure of the structural integrity so the dam don't go collapse. These things but the effect that this thing is bringing in some years to come, we will sit down, whether we are alive or dead, we will be regretting that we didn't take actions in our graves. Because your money and they will be the ones to suffer. The next generations, of course,
they are the ones going to suffer for this.
Say me the name nom led ana menyini kakra ni wu amawu. Na akwara no akwara na ebe wono na ni achi na so ayi say like ono de wonye hwe. Just for the fact that he or she was birthed into a wrong country. Na or suffer. I think that we have to all sit down and fight this galamsey thing together. It's not about banning mining entirely, but it's about tackling the galamsey menace, the illegal mining, no, and no na tackle. Because obitimi wa license. Now, I was say, mining no, but the way he's mining no now makes it illegal. Because our license no, now it is a crime to mine in the river Badia. Now called mining in the river Badia. Even in as much as you have the license to mine, your activity then in the river Badia is now illegal.
It's now illegal and it should be dealt with.
Of course. So I think we need to take a very holistic look at this mining thing and then make sure that we weed it out. Yin free system. For me, I don't subscribe to the ban of mining entirely
or suspension.
I feel that galamsey no ye ni mo won ye galamsey no.
Yeah, so why don't we go
let's go after them.
Yeah.
And leave more ye mining legitimately, to do their mining. Of course.
All right. This is still the GhanaTalks breakfast show.
To join in the conversation, you can log on to our social media platform. On Facebook, it's at Ghana Talks Radio. On YouTube, at Ghana Talks Radio. On X, it's Ghana Talks Radio. And on IG, it's Ghana Talks Radio. We are still here in the studio with the knowledgeable Mr. Stephen Dubig. So moving on. President John Dramani Mahama has directed MP Intim Fojo to assist state security in his allegation on drug arrival at the Kotoka airport. What's your view on this?
No, can't answer.
I'm even wondering. How did you know?
Who sent him?
I say who sent him? Reverend Intim.
He's a reverend in which church?
What is he saying?
He said there's an alleged, drug trafficking. That a flight that has landed at the Kotoka International Airport,
where they are calling Muhammad to investigate and ensure that those culprits are brought to book.
He said the aircraft has been there for 5 days and it's assumed to be an air ambulance.
Because I know that during their times, similar things were happening. But I said that time, they were not having the. It's that they were not having the guts come and say it, or they were not bold enough. And now that the new government is in.
Intim Fojo wants to be the Okujeto Ablakwa of the
MPP. Investigate.
You see, the reason why he cannot be the Okujeto of the MPP is that Okujeto came out. If Okujeto had made this allegation, he would have brought out facts of the matter, documents to show say Asamna can earn correct. And sometimes he did it in a way that in batches. Odikande obebet you. He bet you to come and deny it. Then he brings further and better particulars.
Okay.
But in Team Fojo, you come out boldly to say, there's a suspected cocaine flight in Kotoka.
Yeah, in Kotoka.
Now they say, where's your evidence? Or say, I only made an allegation. Now the state agency should investigate it. And our allegation be investigated. Was it AC na my na mahu so abetwam wo ha na me investigate.
What are you investigating?
Because nipa na so wire na on na etwam a woko. Nti me investigate there about it. So if he wanted if this wasn't a propaganda as usual,
and that's how I see
it. Yes, and he really had fact. He should have presented the fact. And Sabre national security for everything. Also no aden ho ko no ka say me facts are me woni. And you see MPP for ne ya de bi ohun. It is very dangerous. Have you noticed that every press conference that they do it on the president of parliament?
Yeah.
Because as MPs they have parliamentary immunity. Ghana mremuno so ukojina parliament na u kan sem bone for obi hu gu no hu fi kura na yentimi mfa onko ba bia. The person cannot sue you for defamation. He cannot sue you for anything.
Simply because he said that at the parliament house.
Yes. Which kind of bad law is that?
Oh, that's very bad.
Indeed, if you've noticed, all the press conferences that MPP does, they do it on the president of parliament. And MPs no address it.
Yeah.
At the end.
Yeah.
How can Intim Fojo come out to say this? And you've been asked to give evidence. Come help in the investigation. Me, I'll just come tell you this is what I have.
If you have the facts.
And do you know the annoying thing? He says or an office.
They should come.
They should come. Knowing very well that
you have nothing to
knowing very well that as an MP you cannot be arrested or picked up when you're doing your parliamentary duties. What you're doing is that you are now putting Ghana in a watch list.
Yeah, exactly.
You see, says hey, we are Ghana Nikrana Wutu Kranko baby. Based on what this guy said, see the be check your crab be different.
Yeah, true.
Well, what can I say? What do? Oh, yeah, MP, oh, diplomatic passport, or for a passport, you use the VIP, what do you call it, lounge at the kotoka uko do abrochi a e bi diplomatic passport nti ye ncheke we nya ohwe na watwam na akọ ba bi ba me mitima mini na me de normal passport won kwase asem asabe waka nti na me to kwaya I have to go through stress to get to wherever I'm going
simply because
you want to
because
you want to make a government look bad and make yourself look better or be no, it doesn't make any sense.
Is that how you see it?
Yes, he's trying to make the government look bad by saying these things. You see, if a crime is being committed, what do?
You take the person to
no, you report if you cannot arrest the person.
Yeah.
So in team for you. In coming press conference, all the information that I think I have, I would have walked to the NIB straight and told them that this is what I think. This is what I think. I've seen this, I've seen that, I've seen this. This flight is so and so is here at this time. I think this and this is in there. Sen kwamoko no make it bast ni wia. Kwamoko nanka asem na akoka ni nyina no be prove say e ampa. Cocaine no e wo mu. Sika na say e flight ni nyina wo mu na NIB before achia. You can now come out to say I gave the information to the NIB people. I felt this and this and this was going on. What I say. And even if the NIB people goes there and aid and abet the people to run away, you can come out to say that. Say na me who say ekoso ba me ko ka kire NIB before no nko bo ankrofo no kra mo me emu dwane. But you didn't do any of that. You just came out, threw things in the air, expecting one of it to stick. And it didn't. And if you can see the interviews he has been granting after that, just trying to make himself sound like reasonable. But sabe any man be enkwase asemo.
Enfa.
What's a cocaine or flight mo be kana bonti. Yes, if I investigation but I was identity na won kwa na like won kwa na security agencies be na president other to am say one for okay many if I was part of the security architecture in this country, Sakwano, Quebec and our 7 days. Do you know what? Kalama Ghana Police Service, Action, CID for China, they have 48 hours to leave him.
Yes,
China, one fan quite answers, I'm interrogating for 48 hours. Wamujana, not and I before Befano. Wamonson interrogating him for 48 hours. Wamujana narcotic control boss for some Befano. Wamusuko interrogating for 48 hours. Wamujana na immigration for Befano. Wamusuko interrogating for 48 hours. Obed that police cell for 8 days. If remove here and can sembia obed make sure say or evidence to back whatever he's saying. Normally, I come here and I sit here and I say that because I don't have evidence on something, I will not talk about it.
You rather not talk about it.
I say this all the time. Committing about it, and I throw whatever I want about, and I walk. But you see, reputation is something somebody takes years to build. You can't just take a minute and because you want to be popular or you want to trend or you want to.
He's actually trending.
Yeah, you want to be on the minds of Ghanaians. You just take that one day, come and sit on radio or TV and say whatever you want and get your trends. And at the end of the day, destroy somebody else's reputation. You see, I have never insulted any leader, his person. Do you know why? Nana became president when he was around 70 years, right?
Yeah.
He built his life or his entire life with 70 years just because he became president for 8 years.
Yeah.
I come here and I insult him, attack his person, trying to denigrate him, trying to soil his reputation. That is not fair.
That's not fair, true.
So when you get opportunity to be in public space, to be part of the discourse, don't just go there because I want to be popular. I'm targeting a position in the MPP and I say in the NDC. Let me be loud. Let people hear about me near there. But in the end, they have a family. They have people who depend on them. They have people who see them as mentors. They've done good to people before. So Asamnaba can attack the issue, don't attack the personality. But what Intim Fojo did was just to make sure that he himself, he projected himself in certain light and then dragged certain people into the mud. Because if you say cocaine abc Ghana for 5 days, now you need security for Ghana airport or woman checks or
how
how did he even find out? That's the question they should be asking. Why not catch
Hey, how did you find out?
On find the source and I'm wanting. Near watching the source and also interrogating the source. Because cocaine, they say cocaine about my numa. I was say cocaine, initial cocaine. Look at what drugs are doing to the youth of today. Of Ghana. Now cocaine at BC airport. In team for you see her 5 days. Now buying team in chair. Aden. One friend in team for you. One musan and some no muyi. One chirimu. He should explain to Ghanaians. He should explain to the authorities. He should give the evidence and facts that he has. Na yen fa na yen hwe no na yen stop the cocaine from entering our system or leaving our leaving our shores and going into another place. Because whatever the case is, whether Ghana had a no more, whether America never can no more, and we should think about their health issues and how it would affect people in general. You shouldn't just be say, oh, say Ghana had no benom ninti, say in team for just cocaine or Ghana ha. Yanko fano, one say baby a cocaine.
And then the source name.
Of course.
Yanko form. So briefly, so let's use our time is actually up, but DJ Cham, producer, please be begging. So moving on to our last topic, which has to do with World Bank dismissing or World Bank suspend 2 major funding projects over the government's dismissal of personnel.
This issue, when it was introduced yesterday, I called the producers and then told them that they should take their topic off.
Okay.
Do you know why?
Why?
The news is fake.
It's fake.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because when normally when I'm called to do a discussion, the topics I get, I research on it.
Yeah.
But when I try researching on this particular topic, I wasn't getting anything.
Oh, I actually have something here.
There was just one news portal that published it, and I don't even know the name of I didn't even know about them until I click on the link one of the producers sent me. And later in the night, Sam George came out and then said it was a fake news. Because mainstream media weren't reporting on them, I just decided that it was fake, even before Sam George came out to say it was fake. So if you see, I always say this: the fake or misinformation must stop.
Yeah,
it must. Because now Ukraine turn as a trace our story. You know, doesn't make sense to you say a sovereign state, Bank of World Bank, the catcher say because more Ukrainophobia dinti. Sika more de my mom farmer, and I didn't scam more de my in Jamaica. What is Kanamaya? You in Jamaica?
Yeah, some bit your back.
So, like, how do you correlate that to write a story like that about it?
All right.
So
since it's fake, let's not talk about it then.
It was a fake news publication, and it has been debunked.
All right. So this is where we draw the curtains for our breakfast show. Thank you so much, Miss Debbie and Mr. Steve Duby, for joining us on our show. We'll be here same time, God willing, tomorrow. We're going to leave you in the hands of DJ Charm, the only DJ with the charming fingers. See you same time tomorrow. On the GhanaTalks breakfast show. Music request about. Guest. Hey. Tena love cake.
Yeah, massage. I don't know what the hono.
Okay.